Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Danmachi. I'm leveling up in the dungeon. Chapter 61. Bilan didn't expect that this time the reward would be the Virgo Baroque of the zodiac in the fairy tale world. Doesn't Baluge live in the star spirit world? Is there a star spirit world in this world where Baluge can go back to rest? Bilan was very puzzled, and asked the system. However, before Bilan could ask, the system took the initiative to give an explanation. Host. The Virgo star spirit Baluge will not disappear once summoned, and it does not require the host to consume magic power to maintain it. It will always exist in this world and beside the host. However, the magic power from the host will be extracted during battles. This explanation made Bilan slightly understand. Let me just say that the celestial spirits in the fairy tale world are special creatures of that world. They rely on the celestial spirit world to survive. How can they leave that world at will? But if it is a permanent summon, there will be no problem. The most important point is that you don't need magic power when you're not fighting. However, this is normal. After all, the world is different. In the original world of fairy tale, there is the celestial spirit realm. The battle after the celestial spirits come out does not require the support of the master's magic power. However, this world does not have the celestial spirit realm, so Bilan himself is naturally needed. The magic power is used to maintain the combat needs of the Protoss. But Bilan is not short of this magic power. Virgo Baruj, although her hobbies are a bit strange, she is also a good star spirit. At least he could help clean the station, and he could also accompany Hestia when he entered the dungeon and follow Hestia's orders. Although Hestia has a divine friend, it is impossible for her to hang out with her divine friend every day. Moreover, in the future, when the Hestia familia grows, the familia's base will also be moved. The familia's base will definitely be very large at that time. With Baluge here, it will be easy to move the familia's base. Looking at the golden key in the system space, Bilan thought for a moment and set a task for Baluge without taking it out. The knight's sword in his hand continued to swing, quickly destroying the enemies in front of him. The deep dungeon was really terrifying. With monsters of this size, the dungeon actually continued to spawn for more than 4 hours before it gradually stopped. Despite 4 hours of continuous high-intensity fighting, Bilan didn't feel any irritated but instead felt very happy. Because in 4 hours, Bilan reached 2 levels again. Bilan's current level is already level 28. Host. Bilan. Level 28. Skills. Meditation Void Furnace, Magic Resist Fire Ring, Fireball, Lightness, Dressing Magic, Skill Instant Kill, Transformation, I Technique LV.3 Sharingan 2630 10 thousandths. Secondary positions. Grandmaster Apothecary 1100 thousandths 10 acres of Magic Medicine Field, Dragon Chef, Master Brewing Master 300 100 thousandths Grandmaster Enchanter 3100 thousandths Grandmaster Beast Tamer 0 100 thousandths Natural and Friendly. Functions. Team Formation, Tasks, Shopping Mall. Items. Barrier Pearl, Magic Turret 10, Noble Phantasm Sword of Pledge of Victory, Noble Phantasm Distant Utopia, Power Card, Divine Blood Potion, Thunder Dragon Slayer Magic Crystal, Healing Fruit, Energy Potion 10, Inspiration Potion 10. Experience Value. 6,100 thousandths. After upgrading 2 levels again, Bilan received 2 rewards, the Enchantment Bead and the Magic Turret. As long as the energy of the barrier bead is sufficient, it can release a huge barrier with a radius of more than 1,000 meters. The defense limit is LV.7. If the energy of the enchantment bead is not consumed by the enemy, then it can be used for 1 month each time it is filled. However, if it is attacked by the enemy, it will depend on the situation. The stronger the enemy's attack, the faster the energy of the enchantment bead will be consumed. Moreover, this boundary bead is bound to Bilan. Once someone touches the boundary bead, Bilan will feel it immediately. As for the energy replenishment of the barrier beads, just throw them into Bilan's magic medicine field space for 1 day and it will be replenished. Bilan's first thought after getting this thing was that the system would reward him specifically for guarding the tower, that is, for guarding the station. Once the Hestia familia develops and grows, they will definitely purchase a huge garrison, and then the barrier bead will be effective. The subsequent magic fort confirmed Bilan's guess. After the magic turret is fully charged, it can also release powerful magic to conduct magic bombardment against attacking enemies. The power is fixed and is at the IV.4 magic level. There are 2 props, one for offense and one for defense. If not, what are they for the station? And just when Bilan was checking the attribute panel, on the other side, there was a little accident. After several hours of continuous fighting, and being besieged by level 3 and level 4 monsters, even Bilan and others were a little tired. Bilan can quickly recover his magic power, but he cannot recover from the fatigue caused by this continuous battle. Among the group of people, Liu was the only one who did not show signs of fatigue. Because the breath of Bilan has a strong effect on Liu, every time Liu feels tired, Liu will come to Bilan's side, fight with Bilan, rub the breath of Bilan, and restore herself. After 4 hours, Liu's spirit was the best among them. If it weren't for some dust on his body, Liu would not look like someone who had just experienced a big battle. Even if Bilan and the others drank the potion, their vigor and energy could not compare to Liu's. However, Liu's situation was also noticed by Tion and the others. No, as soon as they stopped, the 3 of Dion surrounded Liu and began to discuss Liu's situation. It is the elf's habit to react naturally to this situation. If it wasn't for Liu's efforts to restrain herself, and being surrounded by the 3 of Dion, Liu would have already shot them away. It's really strange, Liu, you obviously didn't drink the potion to recover, why are you so energetic? Tiona looked at Liu for a long time, but found nothing, so she could only look at Liu with envy. Is it a skill? Tion also asked curiously. Although the remaining IC didn't speak, her face was full of curiosity, a curious baby. Looking at the appearance of the 3 of them, Liu frowned slightly, and then shifted her gaze to Bilan. Seeing Liu's reaction, several people followed Liu's gaze and looked at Bilan. Bilan, is it your reason? Diona asked curiously. Speaking of which, every time Liu felt tired, he would run to Bilan's side to fight, and then he would leave full of energy not long after. Tion seemed to have thought of something at Liu's reaction, and narrowed her eyes slightly. He rolled his eyes and expressed his guess. I see. Bilan, who was looking at the attribute panel, suddenly felt that the eyes of several people were on him, and raised his head immediately. After a brief period of confusion, Bilan finally realized why several people were staring at him. In this regard, Bilan did not hide it and informed several people that his aura was beneficial to the elves. This is not something to hide. Because this breath can only be felt by elves and gods whose authority is related to nature. Neither other people nor gods can feel it, so Bilan is not worried about anything happening because of the aura on his body. Hey, is that so? Everyone was surprised when they heard this. I can't feel the aura you mentioned, Bilan, at all. Only Liu can feel that the elves are really good. Tiona said with some regret and envy. I'm envious too. It's obviously the aura emanating from my body, why is it useless to me? Diona's words made Bilan think of something, and the corners of his mouth twitched slightly, complaining. It's obviously the aura emanating from my own body, so why can't I have the effect? Bilan never understood this, so he asked the system, but the system didn't answer Bilan. As far as the system is concerned, as long as Bilan's question does not require explanation, this guy will not respond. Obviously, Bilan's question is not a question that must be answered in the system. Speaking of which, brother Bilan, your situation is the same as ours. After hearing this, Tion nodded suddenly and realized that what Bilan said was true. Bilan's aura was the same as theirs, not at its peak state, and, during the battle just now, I drank potions to restore my physical strength. In response, Bilan spread his hands and expressed that he was also helpless. If Riveria knows about this, she will definitely find you, Bilan. Seeing Bilan's appearance, Tiona clasped her hands behind her head and said with a smile. As soon as these words came out, Tion suddenly frowned, touched his chin and started thinking. After a moment, he said, speaking of which, Riveria, as the princess of the elves, is an elven royal family. For Bilan, the aura on your body, maybe you'll have some understanding. How about it, brother Bilan, do you want to come to the Twilight Pavilion? Tion extended an invitation to Bilan. Tiona on the side looked expectant, as if she hoped Bilan would agree to Tion's invitation. Even Icy was a little moved. On the other hand, Liu didn't react at all, she just looked at Bilan quietly, waiting for Bilan's answer. However, Bilan regretfully rejected Tion's invitation. Regarding his own situation, Bilan knew that what the system rewarded was beyond Riveria's ability to understand. Of course, Bilan did not refuse completely. I will pay a visit when I'm free in the future. Looking at the three of Tion, Bilan smiled and declined politely. Yeah, that's such a shame. However, it's agreed, I will come to the Twilight Pavilion often in the future. Tion heard the meaning of Bilan's words, and said with a smile without forcing it. On the other hand, Tiana was slightly disappointed after hearing Bilan's refusal, but quickly cheered up. Icy was also a little disappointed. She still thought that Bilan could come to the Twilight Pavilion, so that she could continue to discuss with Bilan. She has a hunch, and often discusses with Bilan to understand what happened to Bilan, which will help her improve her grace. Adventure in the dungeon together like now, after all, I can't seriously understand. After all, in such a deep place, the dungeon will not give them much time to rest. At the deep level 5, even the effect of the stink bag is not very useful, and it cannot circle an absolutely safe area like it was on the lower level. The group of people didn't waste any time. They took advantage of the break in the dungeon to replenish their energy, and they still had the lunch box prepared by Bilan. Several people dazzled all the remaining lunch boxes that Bilan placed in the system space. As soon as they finished showing off their lunch, a few people started fighting again without stopping. There was no way. The dungeon started producing monsters again, and they were not given any time to rest after meals. This battle lasted several hours. In the blink of an eye, 3 hours passed. 3 hours passed, and everyone was not prepared to stay in the deep layers any longer, so they started on their way back. The current time is around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and they are now in the deep layer. Even if they travel at full speed, it will take 3 hours to return to the ground, which is 7 o'clock in the evening. If we don't set off, we will probably reach the ground even later. On the way back, Bilan ran as fast as possible with lightning wrapped around his body, but his mind was stuck in the attribute panel. Host: Bilan. Level: 29. Skills: Meditation Void Furnace, Magic Resistance Ring of Fire, Fireball, Lightness, Hurricane Blade, Dressing Magic, Skills Instant Kill, Transformation, I Technique LV.3 Sharingan 2930 10,000ths. Secondary positions: Grandmaster Apothecary 1100,000ths 10 Mu of Magic Medicine Field, Dragon Chef, Master Brewing Master 300 100,000ths Grandmaster Enchanter 3,500 100,000ths Grandmaster Beast Tamer 0 100,000ths Natural and Friendly. Functions: Team Formation, Tasks, Shopping Mall. Items: Barrier Pearl, Magic Turret 10, Noble Phantasm Sword of Pledge of Victory, Noble Phantasm Distant Utopia, Power Card, Divine Blood Potion, Thunder Dragon Slayer Magic Crystal, Healing Fruit, Energy Potion 10, Inspiration Potion 10. Experience Value: 30,000 100,000ths. With the new level, the experience value has not increased. It is still 100,000. It's really strange. Looking at the attribute panel, Bilan felt weird and muttered silently. In 3 hours, Bilan only improved one level, reaching level 29. After leveling up again, Bilan received another reward, this time a magic, a wind attribute attack magic, Hurricane Blade. The name is quite good. It is actually a wind blade magic. However, this wind blade magic is a bit special. Bilan prefers to call it the Blade of 1,000 Cuts. Once this magic is used, it can explode with dense and powerful power. The powerful wind blades surround the enemy, slashing them to death with 1,000 cuts. Once a person with insufficient defense is hit by this magic, even their skeleton may not survive. It is a very terrifying magic. Although this magic is very strong, it is not worthy of Bilan's special attention. What makes Bilan care is Bilan's experience value. After leveling up, the experience points required for Bilan's upgrade have not changed at all, still 100,000. When you have not upgraded to a level before, it will be increased on the first basis after doubling the experience value. It turned out not to be the case this time, which was really strange. Bilan thought for a long time but couldn't figure out the reason, and simply didn't bother with it. At this moment, the conversation between sisters Tiona and Tion came to Bilan's ears. Speaking of which, when was the last time Udayos was attacked? I remember it was 3 months ago when Shakti of the Ganesha familia led a team of the familia to attack. Hey, it's been exactly 3 months. I just don't know if we can meet her. It shouldn't be possible. I didn't encounter him when I came here. Maybe he has been attacked again. Hey, you're so lucky. Floor 37. Looking at the huge black skeleton born from the ground, Tion looked surprised, as did several others. They haven't attacked Udayos for a long time. Every time Udayos was born, the Loki familia either happened to go on an expedition or did not encounter him, and were attacked by others. Speaking of which, the last time we attacked Udayos was last year. 4 opportunities a year, they missed them perfectly. What a big magic stone. Compared to the excitement of Tion and the others, Bilan was more concerned about the huge magic stone floating in Udayos' sternum. One of these things can damage millions of Wallace. Speaking of this, Bilan wanted to call Icy a prodigal. In the original work, after being provoked by the weirdo Revis, Ice challenged Udayos alone. After the explosion killed Udayos alone, she actually destroyed the magic stone. Even if you defeat Udayos and feel excited, there is no need to do such irrational things. Hey, Ice, don't do anything to this guy's magic stone. Thinking of this, Bilan felt that he should give Ice a reminder. When Icy, who was about to take action, heard Bilan's words, her face was filled with cuteness and question marks. The same goes for several other people. Look what you said. Who would destroy such a big magic stone? Are you a fool? Original Icy. OVO. Okay, stop talking, deal with this guy quickly and go back. Tion shook his head slightly, then urged him and rushed towards Udayos in a flash. Udayos has already launched an attack on several people at this time. Although he cannot move due to his special situation, Udayos himself also has the means to attack from a distance. A series of hard spikes rise from the ground. It spread towards several people, and the ground continued to shake. Tion, who rushed out, was the first to bear the brunt. Tion did not dodge. Instead, he waved 2 kukri knives and collided head-on. The powerful attack was shattered into pieces with one powerful blow. Seeing this, Bilan and others rushed out in a flash and launched an offensive against Udayos. It has to be said that the bones in Udayos' body are really hard. Even Ice's Sword of Despair, Tiona's Olga, Tiozan's Recurvature, and Liu's Kodachi cannot cause damage to it. However, Udayos suffered a big loss on Bilan's side. Bilan's knight's sword cut off Udayos' arm with one blow. It was cut off directly without any tricks. It did not attack the joints like Icy in the original work, but held it head-on. Udayos' arm was cut off. The gorgeous knight's sword flashed with a cold light, which was the light that appeared on the extremely sharp weapon. This is the result of Bilan's previous enchanting of his own equipment. The knight's sword Hestia obtained from Hephaestus was enchanted with sharp attributes by Bilan. As long as Bilan wants to, he can use it at any time. This attribute exploded. Just now, Bilan exploded with this attribute. Of course, magic is not omnipotent and has its limits. And it just so happens that the intensity of Bilan's enchantment is at the master level, which is comparable to the gods of this world. The enchantments performed by Bilan are not inferior as long as they are not god level. The bones of Udayos are indeed very hard, including the weapons he uses. In the original book, the weapon used by Oda, the savage of the Freya family, is the weapon of Udayos. Plus powerful arms. But so what, facing Bilan's enchantment, as long as he does not reach the level of a god, he is useless. In particular, the enchantment on Bilan's knight's sword is not temporary, but permanent, and its enchantment power is much stronger than the temporary one. The huge skeleton arm fell directly to the ground, creating a deep pit in the ground. When other people saw this scene, they were immediately shocked. Hey, Bilan, you've become stronger again. Diona's face was slightly dull. Udayos' arm was actually removed with one blow, and it didn't hit the joints. Tion's pupils shrank at this time, and he was surprised. Although Icy and Liu didn't speak, their expressions were similar to those of the Tiojan sisters. They launched an attack on Udayos just now, and Icy used wind attribute magic to assist, which increased the attack power, and made dozens of slashes in an instant, but did not cause any damage to Udios' body. Tiona's Urga, the most destructive weapon among them, did not cause damage to Udios' body, and the same was true for Tion and Liu. But now, Bilan can do it with one blow. Does this mean that Bilan's strength has surpassed them? When I was sparring with Icy before, I was still at a disadvantage the whole time. In just one day, Bilan's strength has become so strong. Of course, this is just the speculation of Tion and the others. Just the scene before him could not determine that Bilan's strength had surpassed them. However, the guesses of several people were indeed correct. Bilan's strength has indeed surpassed them. After all, he has been promoted to 3 levels after sparring with Icy. Bilan's strength has surpassed Icy. If converted into data, Bilan's current strength after being promoted 3 consecutive levels is probably an IV.5 with all 5 values reaching S level. It can be said that it is the limit of ordinary LV.5 adventurers, and after that it is the combat power of level IV.6. Ah, what are you guys doing? Hurry up and attack this guy, and you're in a hurry to go back. Bilan, who was attacked by Udios who had lost the power of several people standing there motionless, suddenly felt pressured. Da Zeng, somewhat speechless, shouted out. It has to be said that Udios, as the floor master of the 37th floor, is indeed very strong, possessing the strength of IV.6. With Bilan's current strength, can he stand alone without releasing the sword of vowed victory? It's really hard to say how to capture this guy. At least Bilan has a hard time dealing with Udios alone now. Ahaha, here we come, here we come. Several people reacted to Bilan's yell, and they were in the middle of the battle, and they were a little embarrassed, and they joined the battlefield again with a ha-ha. 5 adventurers with level 5 combat power besieged him. Even if Udios had level 6 combat power, he could not change the outcome. In just 10 minutes, Udios was wiped out by several people, leaving behind a huge magic stone that hit the ground from high in the sky and stood inlaid on the ground. Ding! Team up and kill the floor leader Udios and get 50,000 experience points. It was already night when I came back from the dungeon, and the stars were dotted in the night sky. There is no way, even if a few people rush on the road with all their strength, it will take several hours to get back from the deep layer. Because it was too late, several people did not redeem Wallace. After returning to the ground, they separated at an intersection and went back. Bilan, who was separated from several people, returned to the station in just 10 minutes. Because Bilan came back too late, Hestia was obviously worried about Bilan's safety. She didn't go into the underground church at night, and just sat on the big rock outside, feeling glum. After seeing Bilan's figure, Hestia's eyes instantly lit up. She jumped down from the big rock and ran towards Bilan. She jumped up and hung directly from the distance of half a meter or 2 on Bilan's body. Bilan, you are finally back, I am so worried. Hestia was very excited. Although she could feel Bilan's favor and knew that Bilan was fine, it was the first time that Bilan came back so late after she became her dependent, and Hestia couldn't help but worry. After all, not dying and being injured are 2 different things. Seeing Hestia's frightened look, Bilan smiled slightly and stretched out his hand to gently stroke Hestia's head. He didn't say anything more, just a simple comfort. Don't worry, I'll be fine. However, even if it is just a word of comfort, it is still very effective. At least Hestia's trembling body had calmed down by now. Seeing Hestia calm down, Bilan took Hestia's hand and walked towards the entrance of the underground church. Have you eaten? Bilan asked gently as he sat down on the sofa. Not yet. Hestia heard this and shook her head. Because Bilan didn't come back at night, she had been worried about Bilan's condition and how he could eat, and she didn't even cook. Well, wait for me for a while and I'll make something to eat. Bilan nodded when he heard this. He used the costume change magic to instantly change his weapons, put on an apron and walked towards the kitchen. Hestia didn't stop him. She leaned forward, put her hands on the coffee table, looked at Bilan in the kitchen, the corners of her mouth curved up, and she smiled foolishly. She was worried to death when Bilan didn't come back around evening before, but now seeing Bilan busy in the kitchen, Hestia felt extremely relieved. Seeing Bilan's busy figure, Hestia felt it was a pleasure. Soon, half an hour passed, and a delicious dinner was completed in Bilan's hands. To be honest, the food you cook, Bilan, is completely different from the food I have seen in books, but it is very delicious. I am really lucky to meet you, Bilan. Covering his bulging cheeks, Hestia's face was filled with joy and enjoyment. Bilan, who was sitting opposite, smiled slightly when he heard this. It's normal that I haven't eaten it. Although he knows Western food, which is the mainstream food in this world, Bilan doesn't like it. Instead, he likes to cook the food of Greater China in his previous life. Bilan knows all kinds of cuisines. Compared with the mainstream food of this world, Bilan prefers the food of the past life. The food in this world cannot be compared to the food in the previous world. Bilan is not stupid if he doesn't eat the better ones and eats the inferior ones. Obviously, even in another world, the Chinese food is still indiscriminately slaughtered. What happened to Orario these days? Bilan asked Hestia while eating dinner. This is a routine case. After Bilan enters the dungeon and returns, he will report his adventure to Hestia, so that Hestia will not be too worried, and at the same time, he will ask Hestia if there is anything special happening on the ground. Ah, yes, that fellow Loki paid a visit to more than a dozen gods' families within 2 days with that pair of fat, and now the whole Ololi has spread the word. However, Mahé stopped all the commotion caused by Loki. You don't know, Mahé's little shop is full these days, whether it's children from the lower world or other gods, there's an endless stream. When it comes to what happened to Ololi in the past 2 days, Hestia is very excited. Because Mahé's reputation was beaten out, his shop was very popular, so all the potions made by Bilan were sold out. You know, because Hephaestus brought a lot of medicinal materials at once, Bilan made all those medicinal materials into potions. Those potions were all sent to Miss Shop by Hestia for sale. In these 2 days, she made about 5 million wallis, and the rest was divided among Sehe. Hey, it looks like Loki's character. Bilan was a little surprised when he heard that Loki actually did this, but when he thought about it, it was very consistent with Loki's character. Yeah, that guy is very proud now. Hestia nodded again and again, and then Hestia also asked about Bilan's situation. By the way, how was the adventure in the dungeon these 2 days? Bilan didn't hide anything and told Hestia about his adventures in the dungeon these 2 days. You have already possessed the strength of a first-level adventurer, and together with the children of the Loki family and the Astoria family, you defeated Udios, the lonely king of the labyrinth. However, it seems that it is not unacceptable to upgrade the situation with your favor. After listening to Bilan's adventure, especially Nuo Chinhao heard that Bilan has the strength of the first level and joined hands with IC and the others after defeating Udios. Hestia was really shocked. However, after reacting, Hestia felt that she could survive. After all, Bilan's grace upgrade situation is very special. 2 consecutive upgrades have broken the S-level record, and even surpassed the SS and SSS levels to reach the so-called X level. In this case, the sublimation obtained by Bilan after upgrading is definitely not easy. Coupled with the existence of upgrading skills, it is very possible to have the combat power of IV.5 at the IV.3 level. When she thought of this, Hestia couldn't wait to renew her favor to Bilan. At Hestia's urging, the dinner ended quickly with Hestia's generous compliments, and Bilan was pinned down on the sofa by Hestia. Bilan, LV.3, Power, SSS 1230, Durable, SSS 1256, Smart, SSS 1269, Agility, SSS 1212, Magic, SSS 1289, Upgrade, Development Abilities, Warrior, Floor Master Killer, Swordsman, Mystery. Development Ability, Magical Leap Level 1, Magic, Void Furnace, Increase the host's magic power limit. Instantly restore magic power. Perpetual motion machine. Element control. Wind, lightness, hurricane blade. Fire, resist rings of fire, big fireballs. Thunder, speed. Space, dress up, skill, upgrade, fight monsters and upgrade. Team upgrade, task upgrade, deputy grandmaster. Potion master, master of brewing, dragon chef. Master of taming beasts, master of enchantment. Instant kill, follow your heart, release a sure hit slash at enemies within a radius of 10 meters. Sharingan, insight, copy, Illusion. 0. Sure enough, the great deeds you need to upgrade are enough. Looking at the updated favor, Hestia copied it and handed it to Bilan. After hearing Bilan say that he and Loki and the children of the Astralia family joined forces to eliminate Udios, Hestia had a hunch that Bilan's great achievements in upgrading again were enough. This update found that this is indeed the case. Although the favor ability value has not reached X, the great achievements required for upgrade are enough, and the upgrade options are also available. However, Hestia had no intention of upgrading Bilan. After all, Bilan's previous 2 upgrades were to increase the favor ability value to X. The stronger the ability value before the upgrade, the stronger the sublimation obtained after the upgrade. Hestia is not that stupid. As for Bilan's newly acquired magic, Hestia didn't care. Of course, it doesn't mean that Hestia really doesn't care, it's just that compared to magic, Hestia cares more about changes in ability values. It's true. Bilan also saw the change in his favor and said with a smile. Speaking of which, what's going on with you, the master killer of the floor? Hestia lay on Bilan's back as usual, resting her head on Bilan's shoulders. BBFC, Hestia hugged Bilan said, her eyes were completely focused on the development capabilities that Bilan could obtain through this upgrade. Warrior, swordsman, and mystery, she could all think of why they appeared, but Hestia was a little unsure about the development ability of the building owner's killer. Warriors and swordsmen, as long as they are adventurers and use swords as weapons, they can all get it. The mystery was revealed to Hestia after Bilan used the enchantment magic the night before entering the dungeon. The development abilities Bilan will gain from the next upgrade are definitely mysterious. Hestia never expected that there was only the floor master killer. Maybe it's because he hunted down 2 floor masters in just 1 week not long after he became an adventurer. Hearing Hestia's doubts, Bilan thought for a moment, and then came up with the final answer. There are possible conclusions. It's really possible. After all, you have just become an adventurer and hunted down 2 floor owners in a short period of time. This has never happened since the gods spread their favors in the lower world. Hestia was also very disappointed with Bilan's conclusion. Yes. So, this ability should allow you to exert great power when dealing with the floor master. Probably. In this case, I will choose this ability when I upgrade. Bilan said with a smile. Bilan wants to know what it will be like to deal with the floor master under the influence of the 2 developed abilities of Leapfrog and Floor Master Killer. Maybe by then, with his current strength, he will be able to easily kill IV.6 Udios. It seems that it cannot be tested. His current strength has reached the peak level of IV.5. When favor upgrades, his strength will definitely go further and reach the level of IV.6, which cannot be tested at all. Maybe you can deal with Balur, the floor master on the 49th floor. Speaking of the floor owner on the 49th floor, Bilan remembered another thing. Hestia, I have something to tell you. After putting on his shirt, Bilan said to Hestia seriously. Is there anything important you need to discuss with me again? Seeing Bilan's appearance, Hestia knew that Bilan had something important to discuss with her. Yes. Bilan nodded slightly, and then told Tion about inviting him to join the expedition of the Loki familia. Hestia listened very carefully and fell into deep thought after listening. I have no opinion on this matter, but as a child of the Loki family, I shouldn't be able to make a decision. I'll visit that guy tomorrow to finalize this matter. After thinking for a moment, Hestia looked up at Bilan and said. Hestia had no objection at all to Bilan participating in the expedition with the Loki familia, and could even be said to welcome him with both hands. If he can join forces with first-level adventurers to kill the floor leader Udios, whose strength is as high as LV.6, then Bilan's strength is definitely first level. With this kind of strength, she will not worry about anything happening to Bilan as she follows the expeditionary force into the depths. She is not afraid of any tricks used by the Loki familia. If something really happened, she would directly block Shin's desk. Moreover, the most important point is that Hestia has not forgotten Bilan's ability to form a team and upgrade. Just by acting on the lower level with 4 level 5 adventurers, Bilan's strength improved by leaps and bounds. If he went on an expedition with a large faction like the Loki familia, Bilan would not be allowed to take off directly. It is estimated that after returning from an expedition, Bilan's strength will reach IV.6. Thinking about it this way, Tia was a little excited. However, after getting excited, Hestia also thought of another thing, that is, this invitation was just the initiative of Tion and the Loki family members, and it was not certain. Loki still needed to nod for this matter. Or maybe the three giants of the Loki familia agree. Well, Tion told me that he would discuss it with Loki and Finn after he returns. Bilan nodded slightly and said, well, I'm going to visit Loki tomorrow. What Bilan and Hestia didn't know was that the Loki family was also discussing this matter at this time. You've done a good job on this. Bilan has magic that can add powerful power to weapons. His joining our Loki family's expedition will be a beneficial and harmless thing. Even if you don't do this, I still have this idea and will let you invite him. In the Dusk Pavilion, in Fen's office, Fen was sitting on the main seat, with his hands on the table and his chin. He said to the three people at the desk with a smile. After returning from the first commission, Ice and the others told Finn and the others that Bilan had magic that could add power to weapons. Fen and others have discussed this matter in the past few days and have also thought about it. If Bilan's strength joins them, it will be of great help to their expedition. The depths before the 50th floor are okay, but once you enter the depths after the 50th floor, this auxiliary ability is very important. The floors after the 50th floor are still very threatening to the Loki familia, and every time their strength can be increased, it is worth it. According to what Tion and the others said 2 days ago, Bilan's enchantment of weapons allows them to use weapons to fight with even more powerful power, which is about the level of full-out fighting. And even if it is one level, it is a very good increase. After all, Tion and the others are not low-level adventurers, but the first-level adventurers who can be called the top in Orario. With the first-level adventurers adding a layer of strength, you can imagine what will happen, what result. Also, the most important thing is Bilan's growth rate. Originally our idea was based on the condition that Bilan's growth could reach the deep level after 1 month. I didn't expect that Bilan would reach the first level of strength in just a few days. This change is really terrifying. Even ancient heroes weren't that exaggerated. I think Bilan's talent potential is comparable to that of the mercenary King Albert from 1,000 years ago. Riveria on the side continued what Finn said and said. After learning that Bilan was an ancient hero, Riveria and others no longer compared Bilan with modern adventurers, but instead regarded him as an ancient hero who could grow up quickly. In the eyes of Riveria and others, Bilan can definitely grow up quickly. When the Loki familia goes on another expedition, Bilan's strength will definitely reach the threshold of entering the lower level alone, and he can also follow the first-level adventurers into the deep level. This is why they discussed inviting Bilan to join the expedition. But Riveria never expected that Bilan would meet the conditions so quickly. Indeed, according to records, it took several years for the music masters from thousands of years ago to grow to our current level with the help of fairy spirits. If you and Tion hadn't spoken, Albert wouldn't be able to compare with Bilan. I think in a month or two, Bilan may reach the level of Finn and I. Grace, who was sitting on the luxurious high-back chair on the other side, agreed and nodded. Grace even suspected that at Bilan's growth rate, he might be able to compete with him and Finn in another month. After all, it has only been about a week since Bilan became an adventurer. It can be said to be shocking that it has grown to this extent in about a week. Who would dare to think so? Even the gods wouldn't dare, not even the ancient heroes. Loki didn't dare to think about it like this. Loki's guess about Bilan is that it will take at least half a year for Bilan to grow to the level of a first-level adventurer. But now, the results are dozens of times different. After hearing what Riveria and Grace said, Ice didn't know what she thought of, and her eyes flickered slightly. Yeah, we didn't expect that in just a few days, Bilan would grow to this point. When I saw Bilan and Ice colliding head-on, my jaw was really shocked. Listening to the words of the two people, Tion was also filled with emotion. Tiona on the side kept nodding. Ah, by the way, where's Loki? Why didn't you see her? After nodding, Tiona asked about Loki. Ah ha ha, well, I should be on my way to visit my friend. Finn said with a slightly abnormal expression on his face when he heard this. Tien said with a smile. Visiting a friend of the gods. This answer made the three of them confused, and they all tilted their heads in unison. You'll know when the time comes. Finn shook his head with a dry smile and said it. Obviously he didn't want to say much. When Loki comes back, they will know what happened. We agreed to your invitation, Tion, and it was a decision we had already made. 0. At that time, you can ask Bilan for his opinion. If there is no problem with Bilan, we will formally invite him in the name of the Loki familia. Okay, Finn commanded Tion with a solemn expression. Yes, leader. Tion heard this and responded seriously. Immediately, Tion's expression became hesitant. Captain, I have something to tell you alone. Can you come out with me? After hesitating for a few seconds, Tion finally mustered up the courage and said to Finn. You want to tell me something alone? Okay. Finn was a little surprised, but he still agreed. He stood up from the office chair and walked out the door. Tion quickly followed. What happened when we were alone, Tiona? Watching the two people leave, everyone present looked confused, and Riveria asked Tiona. I don't know either. Tiona shrugged and spread her hands. I don't know. Ice also shook her head, indicating that she didn't know. That's right. Riveria heard this and didn't go into details. By the way, Riveria, I have something special to tell you. Bilan has a very unique aura. 3. Can you restore the state of the elf to the peak breath? It didn't happen the last time we met. It seems that we should pay a visit to Bilan. By the window in the corridor, Riveria looked at the silver frost all over the window, and said inwardly. Immediately, Riveria withdrew her gaze, turned around and was about to leave here and go back to the bedroom to rest. However, as soon as she turned around, Riveria saw Dion approaching. Anyone who saw Tion at this time could tell that she was very disappointed. Seeing Tion like this, Riveria couldn't help but frown slightly and asked worriedly, Tion, what are you doing? Already? Riveria, I'm fine. Hearing Riveria's voice, Tion raised her head, showed a forced smile, responded, and then continued to walk forward. There is no plan to communicate with Riveria at all. In the case of Tion, Riveria's eyebrows frowned even tighter. Tion was with Finn just now. This has never happened before. It seems that we really gave up this time. That's good. Finn has devoted himself wholeheartedly to the revival of the clan. He has no personal relationship with his children at all. He is indeed not a good match. No matter how hard Tion tries, he will not get results. Giving up now is not enough. It's too late. Riveria has so much experience. Even if she has not experienced it, she has never eaten pork and has never seen a pig run away. She immediately saw the situation of Tion. Regarding Tion's matter, she didn't know how to evaluate it, but she hoped that Tion would stop right there and stop wasting time, because she knew Finn's situation. Just like Grace's evaluation of Finn, Finn always harbored huge ambitions that were inconsistent with his size, and never concealed them. Finn spent his whole life fighting to revitalize the clan, and he never had an affair with his children. Liking Finn is not fruitful. Riveria had thought about persuading Tion a long time ago, but thinking of Tion's strong character, Riveria was afraid of having the opposite effect, so she took no action. Tion is now able to stop her losses in time, and she is happy for it. Seeing Tion's figure gradually disappearing into the darkness, Riveria shook her head, turned and left. Her bedroom was just opposite the direction Theon left. The next morning, Bilan and Hestia woke up early. Because he didn't have to go to the underground city today, Bilan did not leave the clan station, but trained his combat skills in the open space above the underground church. As for Hestia, Hestia took Baruj and several boxes of potions to visit Mahay's shop. Bilan summoned Baloo last night and introduced her to Hestia. Although Hestia was surprised that Bilan could actually transform into a living person, she didn't mean to ask further questions. It seemed that she had seen this kind of thing before, so she was just surprised that Bilan could do such a thing and was not too shocked. When it comes to Baluj, Bilan has to say that he is worthy of being the star spirit of the zodiac. Although he doesn't seem to have much fighting power, with Bilan's infinite magic cash machine, Baluj's strength is absolute. The Zodiac, if replaced by Fairy Tale's magician level, would definitely be a proper S-class magician. Moreover, a spiritual channel has been established between Bilan and Baluj. The two can communicate in their hearts at any time, no matter how far apart they are. Once Baluj fights, even if Bilan's magic power is unlimited now, Bilan will not feel the change in magic power when Baluj extracts Bilan's magic power, but Bilan can also feel that Baluj is fighting. Early in the morning, Baruch carried 3 large boxes of medicines, left here at Hestia's greeting, and rushed to Mahay's side. They are all potions made by Bilan yesterday. As for why there are so many, it is because Bilan discovered that it was the first time he used the magic medicine field. Bilan had wrongly estimated the growth time of some medicinal materials in the magic medicine field. Some medicinal materials planted in the magic medicine field take longer to mature, some take about the same time as Bilan estimated, and some matured yesterday. After Bilan observed it last night, he found that the medicinal materials were ripe and ready to be picked. Bilan decisively picked the medicinal materials and took them out to make potions. Because of this, Hestia and Manluj had 3 large boxes full when they left. Otherwise, Hestia really wouldn't be able to make so much with the medicinal ingredients Hestia bought in the past 2 days. A box full would be enough. Moreover, before leaving, Hestia also said hello to Bilan and would not come back at noon. Today she will visit several divine friends, including Mahay, Jian Yule, Hephaestus, and Loki I said last night. In other words, Bilan is the only one in the family camp today. The 1-hour morning exercise ended quickly. Bilan returned to the underground church, washed up briefly and sat on the sofa. As soon as he sat down, Bilan felt a little empty. Since coming to Orario, he has been busy and has almost no time to spend alone. When he was not in the dungeon, he was communicating with Hestia, making potions, enchanting, teaching Naza, etc. Even when he finally had a day off last time, Hestia dragged him around all day long. Today's is the first time Bilan has been idle. Feeling a little idle, Bilan simply brewed black tea and prepared to taste the black tea to cultivate his sentiments. However, as soon as he took out the black tea, Bilan suddenly remembered something. Ah, by the way, I haven't seen the items in the mall that were refreshed today. As soon as he thought of it, Bilan sank his mind into the system space and checked the system mall. Seeing this, Bilan's eyes suddenly brightened. Because Bilan actually saw an item that he wanted very much in the mall. Power cards are items that the system said can only be obtained in the mall. 1000 mall points. Buy. Although the magic stones from the previous 2 days have not been exchanged, Hestia's harvest of potions in the past 2 days is quite good, with a total of 550 valis. It is really not worth spending 1 million to exchange for mall points. Question. If you don't redeem it this time, you won't know what will happen next time you encounter it. After all, there is no such temple after passing this village. Bilan exchanged 1,000 mall points without hesitation and exchanged the power cards in the mall. Bilan's current power card only has the original 10 quotas, which is really not enough for Bilan. After all, once the dependent clan develops in the future, even if they take the elite route, their number will not be that small. At least not like the Estrella familia. Speaking of which, as for the Estrella familia, Bilan has reason to believe that the reason why they have so few members is entirely due to their harsh conditions for joining. To have an extremely firm concept of justice and to be a woman, these 2 points have already turned out most adventurers. In contrast, the Hestia familia did not have such harsh conditions. Bilan doesn't mind as long as he is virtuous. Hestia had the same opinion as him on recruiting new members. System, upgrade the power card. After buying the power card, Bilan immediately started to fuse the 2 power cards in his hand. With a flash of white light, the power card in Bilan's hand turned into 1, and at the same time, a system prompt sounded in Bilan's mind. Ding! The power card has been successfully integrated, the current level is 2, and the number of members that can be signed is 20. Seeing that the introduction level on the faction card changed to 2, and the number of marks changed to 20, Yuban couldn't help but smile on his face. Naturally, the more the number of signings for this kind of good thing, the better. After purchasing the faction card, Bilan turned his attention to other items. Just now, my attention was attracted by the power card, and I haven't seen what other products are. Seeing this, Bilan couldn't help but close the attribute panel directly, and leaned on the sofa. Sure enough, it's still rubbish, just a power card. However, the next moment Bilan remembered that he seemed to be making tea, so he sat up straight again and started to make black tea. To be honest, Bilan has never taken a dip, but he has seen Demeter dip in the manner of goddess Demeter before, so he still knows how to take a dip, but he is not very familiar with it. But when Bilan was recalling the process of Demeter making black tea, the protagonist came to his door. Allah Allah, I didn't expect you, Bilan, to be making black tea. Did you know that I'm coming? As a gentle voice sounded, a pink figure appeared at the entrance of the stairs. God Demeter. Seeing the figure appearing in front of him, Bilan was slightly taken aback, and then shouted. Perhaps because his attention was focused on the mall just now, and because it was broad daylight and he was still in the family camp, Bilan did not close the door above. Someone came in without any malice, so Bilan also didn't notice. Good morning, Bilan. What about Hestia, why didn't you see her? Demeter nodded slightly, shouted, and then began to look for Hestia. Hestia's words have gone out. Bilan stretched out his hand slightly, asking Demeter to sit down, and then replied. Bilan's first impression after seeing the goddess in front of him was that of trouble and headache. Because this guy looked at him with the same eyes as Freya, revealing possessiveness and wanting to possess him. Even because of the distance, Demeter's eyes were more aggressive than Freya's. I didn't expect to encounter such a situation when I came to visit for the first time. It's really unexpected. Hearing this, Demeter sighed slightly, seeming to regret that he didn't meet Hestia when he came to visit. Immediately, Demeter came over and sat directly on the sofa. However, this time he sat down, Bilan felt a little on pins and needles. Bilan signaled to Demeter that he should sit on the single sofa nearby. However, Demeter did not follow common sense and sat directly next to Bilan, leaning closely against Bilan, together. Seemingly noticing that Bilan's body was slightly stiff, Demeter suddenly showed a mischievous look and leaned towards Bilan's ear. She opened her pink lips slightly and exhaled like a blue, teasing Bilan. Hey, Bilan, you seem to be afraid of me. Can you tell me why? Demeter whispered softly in Bilan's ear, which made Bilan's body stiffen even more. He moved to the side without leaving a trace, and then with a wry smile on his face, he looked at Demeter and said, God Demeter, please spare me. The gaze in Demeter's eyes was extremely hot and naked, as if she wanted to strip herself naked. Anyone who was not a fool could see it. Bilan couldn't let himself pretend to be a fool, and Bilan didn't bother to pretend to be an example. Bilan, you are so cute. I really want to make you my own. Seeing Bilan's appearance, Demeter was very satisfied and covered her mouth with a chuckle. Thank you to God Demeter for your love. Bilan still looked helpless and shook his head in response. Just call me Demeter. I love Bilan very much, a child blessed by nature. If you need any help in the future, please come to me. I can help for free. Demeter leaned into Bilan's ear again and exhaled like blue again. This made Bilan's eyes twitch slightly. It's not enough to tease her once. You have to tease me again. You really think I'm a fool? Believe it or not, I'll do it to you now. However, Demeter didn't know whether he knew Bilan's inner thoughts or what, so he retreated at the first touch, not giving Bilan a chance to explode, and did not continue to tease Bilan, but just started to communicate with Bilan normally. The topic of communication was nothing special. It was just 090 chatting about daily life. Most of the time, Demeter was talking and telling interesting things about himself in the manner, while Bilan was a listener. There is no way, Bilan and Demeter are not familiar with each other, and I don't know how Demeter can communicate so cheerfully with someone he is not familiar with. Is Demeter a social cow? All morning, Bilan just sat and chatted with Demeter, until noon, Demeter got up to leave. Bilan stood up and sent him out. Seeing the back of Demeter leaving, Bilan shook his head slightly. I don't know what this goddess is thinking. Just now, she clearly had the opportunity to take herself as her own, but she gave up in good time. Just now Bilan was aroused by Demeter's molesting twice in a row. After all, Demeter is also a very hot goddess, so she still takes the initiative. At the same time, not only does Demeter like the aura on her body, Bilan also likes the vitality of Demeter. If she really attacks herself, she will succeed. The rate is very high. This is also the reason why Bilan left so disheartened when he went to Demeter Manor with Hestia before. Because when they were in Demeter Manor, the aura of the two of them resonated slightly, which is a very rare situation. Once they resonate, even if Bilan doesn't want to, there will be some connections. Come on, Demeter was threatened by Dionysus after that. Do you want to remind her not to have too much contact with Dionysus? What's going on today? Just after seeing off Demet, the 9 demons came to the door. Bilan looked blankly at Riveria standing at the stairs while holding the tea set that was going to be sent to the kitchen for cleaning. Yeah, the whole person seemed a little confused. It wasn't just Bilan who was stunned. Riveria on the opposite side was also full of astonishment at this time. It's really the same as what Tion and the others said. Something incredible happened to Bilan. This kind of breath is completely the breath of nature. Seeing Bilan who was stunned, Riveria opened her mouth slightly, her face was full of astonishment, and her heart was extremely surprised. The place where the elf royal family lives is the royal capital of the elf clan. It is built deep in the forest. It can be said to be completely surrounded by nature. It is one of the places with the strongest natural atmosphere. But what did she see today? A half-elf exuded a natural aura that was so rich that she could not describe it. Just the aura it exuded turned the entire underground church into a natural holy land. This breath even made her heart beat unconsciously because she had experienced many battles. She had lived in the elven capital before the age of 70 and had a strong resistance to the breath of nature. Bilan didn't expect that just after sending away Demeter, another Riveria came, so he was a little surprised. Riveria was shocked by the aura emanating from Bilan and froze in place. For a moment, the two of them looked at each other awkwardly. In the end, Bilan was the first to react. He nodded to Riveria sheepishly and asked Riveria to sit down. He sent the tea set to the kitchen and took out a new picture. Although the underground church is small, it is well equipped. When Hephaestus gave Hestia this place, Hephaestus considered all aspects and did not treat Hestia badly. 0. I really didn't expect you, Riveria, to come here. I'm really sorry. Sitting on the sofa, Bilan made black tea again, and said gently. Sure enough, you are different from other elves, you are very special. Seeing Bilan showing no restraint at all, Riveria couldn't help but raise the corners of her mouth and reveal a smile. This was the first time she encountered such an elf who didn't take her identity seriously. Yes, it is the elves, even half-elves are part of the elves in this world, and the elves regard half-elves as their own family. On the contrary, humans do not regard half-elves as humans, because although half-elves have half-human blood, they have the characteristics of elves. It is really difficult for humans to regard half-elves as people of the same race. At the same time, half-elves are only born among humans and elves. I have never heard of elves combining with other demi-humans. As for the reason, Bilan doesn't know. Riveria is very satisfied with Bilan's attitude. In the past, the people of the same race she met were respectful and very restrained to her. Even the black and white elves of the Freya familia, who had almost forced her into a desperate situation before, maintained the same respectful attitude when facing her. Only in Bilan, this did not happen at all. Riveria had noticed this about Bilan when they met by chance in the dungeon. At that time, after seeing her, Bilan not only did not run over to say hello like others, but also turned around and left. At that time, she felt that Bilan was special. Other elves, no matter whether they are in hostile forces or not, will greet her respectfully when they meet her, even the black and white elves in Freya's family. But now after seeing Bilan again, Livia confirmed his guess. Bilan is really completely different from other elves. She likes the way of getting along with Bilan very much. Because she has always been fed up with the way other elves treat her. That kind of respectful and restrained attitude made her feel as if she was trapped in a cage, which was very uncomfortable. Isn't this bad? Facing Riveria's words, Bilan smiled slightly and asked. Bilan naturally knew why Riveria said this. After all, Bilan also knew Riveria to a certain extent and knew that Riveria didn't like the elves being cautious towards him because of his royal status. Although Bilan traveled to this world and became a half-elf, he did not support the elven royal family like other elves, and held the elven royal family high and sacred. Therefore, it is completely impossible for Bilan to treat Riveria with the same respectful and reserved attitude as other elves. If Bilan had not solved the mystery of the womb, he might have been like other elves. No, very good. Hearing Bilan's question, Riveria was not angry, but very happy. She finally got her wish today, meeting the most ideal member of her race in her heart. I wonder why Riveria is here this time. Bilan smiled slightly and did not continue the topic, but asked about the reason why Riveria came to the door. Theon and the others told me about the changes in you. I was very curious, so I came over to take a look. I didn't expect such a huge change to happen to you. You didn't have anything like this when I met you last time. When the topic came up, Riveria's expression became serious and she frowned slightly. While being shocked by the aura emanating from Bilan, Riveria also wanted to know what happened to Bilan to have such a big change. I'm sorry, I don't know about this. It suddenly became like this when I was adventuring in the dungeon. Bilan was naturally unable to give an explanation to Riveria's curious inquiry. Could it be that the system what to tell her? No matter how you think about it, it is impossible. Also, I'm very sorry, I was being reckless. Riveria also realized that what she did seemed to be a bit too much, and even apologized to Bilan. It's okay. Bilan smiled slightly, indicating that it was okay. Riveria also smiled faintly, and the two of them revealed the matter tacitly. Then, Riveria made a request to Bilan. Want to test what Tion said about elves being able to restore their energy and energy by my side. That's totally fine. But, how do you want to try? Bilan did not refuse Riveria's suggestion that she would try to see what would happen when she was around him. Riveria smiled slightly, then closed her eyes and began to chant magic. This change made the corners of Bilan's eyes twitch. However, Bilan felt relieved after hearing Riveria's spell. Because the magic that Riveria chants is not an offensive magic, but a defensive one, and it is the highest level of defensive barrier magic and dimensional interruption. This thing will only form a barrier for King Qian and will not cause destructive power. Soon, a barrier magic spread out from Riveria's body, and then wrapped the two of them in it. Bilan stretched out his hand and knocked hard on the defensive barrier, and found that the defensive ability of this defensive barrier was really strong. Bilan speculated that it could at least defend against IV.6 firepower. Anyway, Bilan felt that with his current strength, it would be difficult to destroy it without using curry cannon. However, at this moment, Riveria's voice suddenly sounded next to Bilan. Sure enough, being by your side can quickly restore energy. This sudden sound startled Bilan directly. Why did you come here suddenly? Huh, what's wrong? Isn't it okay? Riveria looked at Bilan with some confusion. Ah, okay. Ah, that's good. I found that you were really poison to the elves. Ahaha, thank you for the compliment. I didn't praise you. How is the situation? In the evening, Riveria, who returned to the Twilight Pavilion, came directly to the office. At this time, Finn, Grace and Loki were already gathered here. It's rare that Loki didn't go out to show off. As soon as Riveria came in, Finn started asking. Before Riveria left, she mentioned that she was going to find Bilan this afternoon, so Finn and others knew what Riveria was doing. As Tiona said, Bilan is indeed incredible. As long as you stay by his side, the elf will be able to continuously restore energy and energy. I guess this is probably a skill, the same type of skill as my Fairy King seal. Although Bilan did not answer her previous inquiry, Riveria also had speculations about what happened to Bilan. Probably, according to the information Tion learned, Bilan suddenly changed while adventuring in the dungeon. In this case, only the skills match the situation. After all, it makes sense to suddenly realize skills are something during battle. Loki sat on desk, dangling his feet and said with a smile. Now there is another reason to invite Bilan to join the expedition. Grace on the side also showed a rare smile at this time. He knew very well how important the magician was to the expedition. There are many magicians in the Loki familia who can form a magic team, and most of the magicians are elves, commanded by Riveria. If Bilan joins, the magic team will be even more powerful and become a more powerful calendar area. Moreover, this can also reduce the consumption of medicine. Magicians are big consumers of potions. After all, they are constantly releasing magic to fight, and their mental power can easily be depleted. At that time, potions that restore mental power will be needed to restore it. And with Bilan here, as long as the elves stay with Bilan for a while, they can restore their energy and spirit to their peak. This also reduced a large amount of expedition expenses for the Loki familia. Hey, that's what I thought. I highly agree with inviting Bilan to join the expedition. By the way, how was your communication with God Hestia? Riveria nodded slightly, fully agreeing with the invitation to Bilan to join the expedition. When she set out, she happened to meet Hestia, who came to visit her. She heard that she came to Loki to discuss the expedition. For this reason, Loki was even called back by Finn, otherwise Loki would still be outside now. Well, I don't know how the discussion went. God Hestia came here to confirm the cooperation. She still agrees with letting Bilan participate in our Loki familia expedition. However, it was Tion's own invitation before, which does not represent the entire Loki familia, so this time she came to confirm the authenticity of the matter. After our discussions, it has been determined that the Hestia familia and the Loki familia will cooperate in the expedition. We, the Loki familia, will prepare all the items needed for Bilan's expedition. At the same time, I will also guide Bilan during the expedition with various knowledge and information related to the expedition. Correspondingly, Bilan will also need to help enchant our weapons. Tisk tisk, melee has enchanting magic, and magicians can quickly restore the spirit of elves. I have to say that Bilan is really a powerful support. Personally, I think Bilan can be called a god-level assistant. Finn nodded, then touched his chin and said, "Don't forget, he is a warrior." After hearing this, Riveria constructed a picture in her mind, and then reminded her with a slight twitch of the corner of her mouth. Perfect. Grace also touched her chin at this time, thought for a moment, and then gave the answer. Yes, you said, by the time we start the expedition again, we will already have the same strength as Grace and I. At this time, Finn suddenly asked. Although Grace had guessed Bilan's growth rate before, Finn shortened the guessing time by half, which still cheered up the few people present. As soon as these words came out, the whole office suddenly became quiet, and you could hear a pin drop. After a while, someone spoke. It was Riveria. Riveria looked at the few people and said quietly, "According to Bilan's growth rate, it is really possible." Thinking of this, several people's hearts are very complicated. The combat power has grown from IV.1 to IV.6 in 1 month. They are about to witness a legend. As for the fact that Bilan is still LV.1 to the outside world, they don't pay attention at all. There are too many concealment levels. At most, they are fined by the guild. Compared with the complex inner feelings of Finn and others, Loki was beating his feet and chest again at this time. His heart ached and he could hardly breathe. That kid Bilan is obviously mine. Seeing Loki's appearance, Finn and the other three looked at each other and shook their heads with bitter expressions on their faces. Yes, Bilan initially chose the Loki familia, but was rejected because of the rules of the Loki familia. When they learned about this incident, several people felt very sorry. Although they felt sorry, they did not feel the same as Loki. But now that they know that Bilan may improve his strength from IV.1 to IV.6 in 1 month, they can understand Loki's current feelings to some extent. Especially Finn and Riveria. Finn has great ambitions. He wants to revive the little humans and make them famous. He feels like he has made a mistake. If Bilan joins the Luoji familia, then the expedition of the Luoji familia will definitely be successful. They, the Loki familia, challenge the unreached areas left by Zeus and Hera familia, and crossing this goal will be just around the corner. However, now this role that can assist him has been lost. Although Bilan agreed to join them on the expedition, he still felt very uncomfortable. After all, one is a companion and the other is a collaborator. Anyone who is not a fool knows which one to choose. Riveria, on the other hand, fell in love with the aura of Bilan. Even she was very addicted to that aura and wanted to feel it all the time. If Bilan had not been rejected by the Loki familia when he came to the Loki familia, he would have been able to enjoy that special atmosphere. It can also make the magic legion developed by oneself more powerful. Chapter 71. Hestia came back in the evening, bringing Baroque with her. As soon as I came back, I brought back good news, that is, the expedition has been decided. The Loki familia will start a new expedition in 20 days. At that time, the Loki familia will cooperate with the Hestia familia. That's right, it's cooperation, an equal partnership. Although the Hestia familia only has one member, Bilan, Loki and the others still put the Hestia familia on the same level, and this time the invitation turned into cooperation. Although it's just a different name, the meaning is huge. This means that the Loki familia recognizes the Hestia familia and puts the Hestia familia on the same level as the Loki familia. However, if you think about it, the other familia don't know, but the three of them, I see, from the Loki familia, have cooperated with Bilan twice, and they know some of Bilan's details and know Bilan's terrifying growth rate. It seems normal for the Loki familia to do this. After all, according to Bilan's growth rate, he will soon catch up with Finn and the others. It was only a matter of time before the Hestia familia developed, and with Bilan's presence, it would definitely develop very quickly. In this case, free up some well-intentioned options. There is nothing to lose anyway. Hey, Hestia, I forgot to tell you last night, and there is one more thing I need to ask of you. In the kitchen, Bilan said to Hestia while cooking the last dish of dinner. Tell me what's going on. Hestia, who was holding a knife and fork, ready to feast at any time, said directly when she heard the words. Bilan did not hesitate and told Hestia everything about the heretic. Hey, there are such creatures in the dungeon. If other people in Orario knew, it would cause an uproar. Hestia was surprised after hearing Bilan's story. Some people in Orario already know about the existence of these heretics, and there is even a family that has been catching heretics. Bilan said with a smile. Are there any family members trying to capture them? Ah, Aikilo's familia. Ah, that notorious family member. Hey, can your skill really ensure that you can conquer them and make them become members of the Hestia familia? I don't mind if it's possible. Hestia didn't have much reaction when she heard that the familia were arresting heretics, and directly asked Bilan for a guarantee. For Hestia, if Bilan had the ability to turn heretics into human forms and subdue these heretics, she would not mind Bilan doing this at all. If these heretics are included in the family members, the strength of the family members will be greatly increased, and there is no need to cultivate them slowly. Aren't you worried that you agreed so simply? Bilan was slightly startled by Hestia's answer and turned around to ask. So I'm asking for a guarantee, right? If you can guarantee it, then yes. Hestia replied with a smile. Although it was only a short week, Hestia already had great trust in Bilan. Bilan is very independent, very stable, and performs very well in all aspects. She can't trust him even if he doesn't want to. Moreover, every time Bilan asked himself something, he was absolutely sure of it. Just like Loki before, she didn't believe Bilan could succeed, but in fact Bilan did succeed. By the way, all the scars on Hephaestus' face were healed. As long as Bilan can guarantee it, Hestia will dare to believe it and let Bilan do it. Hearing this, Bilan smiled slightly, returned a confident smile, and then continued cooking the last dish. Yes, Tia is very tolerant of everyone. In the original work, even though several of Jian Yulei's family members tricked Belle and trapped him in the middle class, Hestia did not hate them, although this was somewhat done for Jian Yulei's sake. But this also shows Hestia's tolerance. And after that, the heretic Hestia showed no reaction of rejection. The reason why we don't want Dragon Girl Weini to be in the Familia's camp is entirely because we don't want the Familia to get into big trouble. After all, although the Dragon Girl Weini has intelligence, she is also a monster in the dungeon. Once it is discovered that Hestia is involved with the monster, and there is a monster in the family, there will definitely be big trouble if you are not careful. This would put the entire Hestia familia into a state of eternal doom. 0. The Hestia familia is not like the Ganesha familia. And now, Bilan has the ability to subdue heretics, and can also turn heretics into humans without the characteristics of monsters, so naturally there is no need to worry about taking in heretics and causing the family members to get into trouble. What's more, accepting the heretics will greatly increase the strength of the Hestia familia. There is no trouble, and it will greatly increase your strength. It was only natural that Hestia would agree so easily. 0. Now that Hestia has agreed, it will be up to me to contact the heretic and let Ferris notice that once he knows that I have been in contact with the heretic, Ferris will definitely find and contact me. I just don't know where the heretic is now. Although the map of the system shows those unexplored areas, the heretics' stations are temporary and can be adjusted at any time. I don't know when and where they will be, which is somewhat troublesome. Next time you have a break, go to the dungeon and explore those unexplored territories. Well, why don't you just tell Hestia about Uranus and Ferris, and let Hestia go directly to Oranos? However, such words may be suspected. After all, Ferris and Oranos will easily be wary of you if you come to your door. Bilan is a little troubled by this issue. Tell Hestia that if Hestia goes directly to Oranos, there is a high probability that she can contact the heretic as quickly as possible. But if you don't do this, it won't be easy to meet a heretic. What are you worried about? Hestia also frowned slightly and asked, looking at Bilan, who came out with dishes but frowning. After Bilan hesitated for a while, he decided to tell Hestia about the matter and let Hestia make the decision. Humph, that's it. I don't know how you know these things, but let me give it a try. After hearing Bilan's story, Hestia suddenly narrowed her eyes and said with a smile. Hestia had seen enough changes in Bilan. She couldn't see clearly the upgrade skills and deputy skills. But Hestia knew what was useful to Bilan, so she didn't want to get too entangled or ask too many questions. Now it's the same this time. Although she didn't know how Bilan found out that Heretic had contact with Oranos, Hestia was not prepared to find out. Anyway, as long as it's good for her, Bilan, and the Hestia familia. Tomorrow she would go to Oranos. Thank you, Hestia. Seeing Hestia's reaction, Bilan smiled slightly and said, You are my dependent, what can I thank you for? Hestia grabbed Bilan's head and let him lean on her shoulders, winking and saying cutely. Hestia's look made Bilan laugh. Immediately, Bilan and the two started today's dinner. However, there was one more person at the dining table. Naja stepped on the spot and came over to enjoy the meal. Well, Naja came over to ask Bilan to give him some advice on potion techniques. This has been agreed upon a long time ago. Naja comes here once every 2 days, in the evening. Because there is no time during the day. Bilan guided Naja's pharmaceutical technology as usual, and when he felt that it was about the same, he assigned Naja a task, and then started the pharmaceutical work. After acquiring the potion ability, as long as she made potions in the underground church, Rilan never missed the matter of making potions every night. It has to be said that Naja is really talented in making potions. It's no wonder that Naja was able to create a recovery potion with dual attributes of physical strength and spirit. For students who study well, any teacher is willing to guide, and Bilan is no exception. As long as Naja can keep up, Bilan will teach her. Once Bilan realizes that Naja cannot keep up with his teaching progress, Bilan will stop and assign some related tasks for Naja to study slowly on her own. When Naja has thoroughly studied, she can almost continue to guide. And Naja did not disappoint Bilan's expectations. This is what Bilan did during the instruction 2 days ago. And tonight's guide, Naja, has kept up with the progress again, which means that Naja has thoroughly grasped the medicine knowledge taught by Bilan in the past 2 days. Thank you very much for your guidance, Mr. Bilan. Naja, who was standing in the open space in front of the church, holding a notebook in her hands, bowed slightly to Bilan. Although accepting Bilan's guidance, Naja did not call teacher Bilan, and Bilan didn't care about it. Bilan didn't take these too seriously. Study it hard, Bilan replied with a slight smile. Then, Mr. Bilan, I will take my leave first. Naja nodded slightly, and then said goodbye to Bilan. Goodbye. In the early morning of the next day, Bilan set off for the Tower of Babel early in the morning. Because the floor to go to in the next 2 days is the deep floor, Bilan and the others have already made an appointment, and today they will leave earlier than last time. So just after dawn, Bilan set off directly. This time, Bilan didn't meet Seal Freya, and he passed the rich hostess very smoothly, which didn't happen the previous 2 times. When Bilan arrived at the agreed place, Lu was already here, which made Bilan sigh slightly. Lu was really overly punctual, coming here so early every time. However, even though Bilan and Liu came early, the 3 of Icy didn't keep Bilan waiting for long. A few minutes after Bilan arrived, the 3 figures of Icy appeared. After talking for a while, the few of them started on their way as fast as they could. This time Bilan did not use divine speed. The reason why he used divine speed before was because he couldn't keep up with the others after applying the auxiliary wind magic to make him light. But now Bilan's strength is no worse than those of them, and so is his speed. So this time, Bilan is the same as ice and others. It's the breeze that surrounds the road. The few people didn't stop along the way, and it took nearly 4 hours to reach the deep layer. Hey, Tiona, what's wrong with Tion? It feels so fierce. After entering the deep layer, Bilan and others started to attack the deep layer. At the beginning of the battle, Bilan was beaten by Tion. I was frightened by Nirvana's movements. No matter how you look at it, Tion looks so brutal at this time. He doesn't use the kukri, but fights directly with his fists, punching to the flesh. No monster can block Tion's blow, and the momentum all over his body is very violent. The scene in front of him didn't look like a battle at all, but rather like a massacre. Tion brutally slaughtered these monsters. Ahaha, Tion seems to have gone to confess to the captain again. And this time is different from the past. Tion seems to be ready to give up after failing to confess again. I don't know how Tion gave up all of a sudden. I dare not argue with Dion now, lest she beat me to death. Let's not touch Dion's brow. Facing Bilan's question, Diona explained in a low voice. Give up. Bilan was slightly taken aback by this explanation. Bilan really didn't expect this situation. After all, Tion had pursued Finn for several years. Not long after joining the Loki family, he began to pursue Finn, although he did not get a response. But can the pursuit of so many years really be let go so quickly? No wonder Tion is so cruel today. Bilan didn't know that the reason Tion acted like this was entirely because his attitude towards Tiona made her feel a big gap in her heart, so she acted like this. Bilan only knew that things happened so abruptly that he was a little surprised. How about we keep moving forward? When Bilan was surprised, Tion smashed a satyr to pieces with one punch, then turned around and said loudly to several people, with a fierce momentum that gave people an unquestionable feeling. When Tiona explained, Lu also heard about Tion's situation, so she didn't intend to touch Tion's brow, and Bilan and others were the same. So when they heard Tion's proposal, the few people had no objection at all and nodded repeatedly. A group of people started to hurry up again, moving towards the next floor. It should be said that he is worthy of being an Amazon, especially Tion, who is also known as the Angry Snake. Once he gets angry, no one can bring him back. The adventure went on forever as soon as it started, without even having time for lunch. Because Tion didn't plan to eat lunch at all, she just wanted to vent her anger by hunting monsters. In the few hours since the adventure began, several people have made their way from the 39th floor directly to the 46th floor, only 3 floors away from reaching the 50th floor of the new safe zone. You know, the last time they came here, they only penetrated 2 levels after walking in the deep layer for a day. As a result, it penetrated directly through the 8th floor in a few hours, and the speed was completely beyond Bilan's expectation. It also made Bilan understand how irritable Tion was in anger. However, Bilan also gained huge gains by breaking through the 8-level deep dungeon in one go. The deeper the floor of the dungeon, the more experience points the monsters kill give Bilan. Bilan upgraded when he broke through the 40th floor. Reach level 30. After reaching level 30, Bilan's experience requirements and strength increase have doubled again. Starting from level 30, the experience points required for Bilan to upgrade have also reached 6 digits. Upgrading from level 30 to level 31 requires 200,000 experience points. The strength improvement also changed from 2 to 4. Having penetrated 8 levels of dungeons in a row, Bilan's level has reached level 31, and the experience value for upgrading from level 31 to level 32 has reached 150,000. In other words, after breaking through the 8-level dungeon in a few hours, Bilan gained 380,000 experience points. And after upgrading 2 levels in a row, the rewards from the system are naturally not absent. Moreover, these 2 rewards are the same as the previous Beast Taming Master and Natural Breath, and they are matching. Legion level Flame Magic card and Joint Seal. The Legion level Fire Magic Inheritance card, the exclusive fire magic of the Magic Legion, has the same series of 10 kinds of fire magic from weak to strong. As long as Bilan forms a legion, he can use this inheritance to let the legion instantly master this magical inheritance. The Joint Seal allows the members of the Magic Legion to work together, gain unparalleled tacit understanding, and maximize the power of the Magic Legion. The Magic Legion Bilan can create is different from the Magic Legion raised by Riveria in the Loki familia. Bilan's magic is systematic. Everyone masters the same magic and then works together to release it. Its power is definitely not a simple addition, but a multiplication. Bilan's inheritance magic card can now be passed down to 10 people, but it can be continuously upgraded like the power card. Like the power card, the same card can be purchased in the mall for fusion. And even if there are only 10 LV.1 level magicians, they can release firepower comparable to LV.3 using fire magic together. 20 can release IV.4 magic firepower. If it reaches 50, it will be able to release magic that destroys level 5 adventurers. And once it reaches 100, even IV.6 will not be immune. This is just an IV.1 magician. As the number and strength of the magicians in the Magic Legion increase, it is estimated that even LV.7 will be unavoidable. It can be said to be a very scary group. On the contrary, there is no inheritance system for magic in this world. Everyone's magic is awakened by grace. Except for individual adventurers, it is impossible to have a large number of adventurers who master the same magic. In this case, even if Riveria pulled up a magic army, she would not be able to integrate the power of all magic into a more terrifying magic. However, these two rewards are good, but they have a fatal weakness, that is, the magician who receives the inheritance must be absolutely loyal to Bilan, otherwise it is easy to cause problems. Once someone has different intentions, even with the Joint Seal, the power of the magic army cannot be exerted. Moreover, this kind of thing cannot be used for free by people who cannot ensure their loyalty. In other words, in order to fully utilize the power of the magic army, Bilan needs to match it with another thing, which is the power card. However, the number of power cards that can be signed is too small. I can only use 20 signing quotas now. For the time being, 10 places will be given to the Magic Legion. A small Magic Legion will be formed first, and the remaining 10 will be members of the family members in close combat. Bilan silently allocated the power cards. Melee, long range, no one is left behind, and there will be a few supporters when the time comes. This is the perfect combination. Even if you don't follow, don't worry. The magic firepower exerted by the Magic Legion composed of 10 magicians is only level 3, but as they grow up, the firepower exerted by the Magic Legion will be more powerful. That's it for the time being. I'll slowly build up the magic army after I get more power cards. With the power stuck, the strength of the magic army can definitely increase quickly. Think about it, at that time, a magic army composed of 50 or even 100 level 4 and level 5 magicians could run rampant in the entire dungeon. Thinking of this, Bilan couldn't help but curve the corner of his mouth. However, the next moment, Bilan suppressed his smile. Looks like we're going to trouble Hestia again. It's time for Hestia to start recruiting familia. It's really hard for Hestia to deal with the heretics' affairs and recruit new familia at the same time. By the way, just let Hestia recruit elves and half-elves. Bilan thought silently. Don't ask Bilan why he only wants to recruit elves, just ask if it's eye-catching and simple. As long as the elves give Hestia a lock of hair and ask Hestia to take it with her to find elves who don't have any dependents, they will definitely have a 100% success rate in recruiting them. Bilan can be sure from Lu's reaction. Even Riveria couldn't resist the aura on her body. After the test, Riveria had been sitting next to Bilan and never wanted to leave. He didn't leave Bilan until he left. If the elf royal family is like this, how can other elves resist the aura of Bilan? Along the way, several people broke through 3 floors in a row and came directly to the safety zone on the 50th floor. Bilan, sorry, everyone. In the safety zone on the 50th floor, where Bilan and others were stationed, Tion put his hands on his knees and apologized to several people in a low voice. After venting the irritability in her heart, Tion also understood that she was too reckless to rush all the way to the 50th floor. Although it is no problem to come here with their strength, it is somewhat reckless. That's not the case. How do you feel now, Tion? Tiona waved her hands and replied with a smile, and then asked with concern how Tion was feeling now. A little better. It will be better later. Tion replied with a smiling face. Would it be better to wait? Diona's face was full of questions. However, when she saw Tion's eyes staring at Bilan, who was preparing dinner, and falling on the richly scented dinner, Tiona understood why Tion said that. Ah, indeed, it would be better to wait, Diona said with a smile. How can you feel bad when you can eat the delicious food made by Bilan? Anyway, she couldn't imagine what could not be solved with a meal of Bilan's food. If not, then 2 or 3 meals. Here, that's it. You are in a special situation today, so let me give you the first barbecue. Bilan also handed a grilled barbecue to Tion at the right time. Tonight's dinner is barbecue for short. There is such a treatment, thank you so much. Tion was a little surprised when she heard this, and then took the barbecue unceremoniously, thanked her and began to eat it. Bilan is eccentric. Seeing the interaction between Bilan and Tion, Tiona curled her lips with a look of dissatisfaction. However, anyone with a discerning eye can tell at a glance that Diona did this on purpose, to raise the atmosphere and bring the atmosphere back to the way it was last time. To put it simply, he wanted to find an excuse to argue with Tion. This is their daily life. If they don't bicker, she is really not used to it. However, Tion, who had delicious food in his mouth, completely ignored Tiona's intention and kept moving his mouth to quickly destroy the barbecue. A large piece of roast meat disappeared by a fifth in the blink of an eye. Seeing Tion's expression of great enjoyment, Tiona didn't care about anything else and became satisfied with Bilan. Bilan, how long does mine last? Hi, you'll be fine soon. It didn't take long for several people to have a large piece of barbecue in their hands to satisfy their appetites. I can't wait to go on another expedition. At that time, I will be able to eat Bilan's delicious food every day, hee. After stuffing a large piece of roast meat into her stomach, Diona wriggled her fingers indistinctly, smiling foolishly. That's true. By the way, Liu, you can come with me when the time comes. Tion on the side also spoke, but she was speaking to Liu. Tion also noticed the interactions these past few days. Liu acted completely with Bilan as the center. Of course, it doesn't mean that Liu likes Beidong as much as her sister Tiona. From her observation, although Liu had a crush on Bilan, it was not to the level of Tiona. The reason why Liu followed them was to protect Bilan. From Bilan being weak to now possessing the combat power of a first-level adventurer, Liu's purpose is simple, that is, to protect Bilan's growth. This time Bilan will go on an expedition with the Loki familia, and Liu will probably follow them into the deep depths. Instead of having something happen to Liu alone then, it would be better for her to directly invite Liu to join her now and give her a powerful boost to the expedition. This is good for Bilan and Ludu. Thank you very much. Liu, who was chewing slowly, was stunned when he heard this, then showed a faint smile and thanked Tion. Liu didn't know what Dion was thinking, but Liu did have such a plan. She has completely regarded Bilan as her hope now. Bilan participated in the expedition of the Loki family. Even with the protection of the Rocky family, Liu would not be at ease. The last time I heard Tion's invitation to Bilan, Tion had already made plans. If she is not wanted, then she will definitely ask the Loki family to act together. As a wanted existence, although the Loki family has no intention of taking action against her, this does not mean that the Loki family will accept her to join the expedition. And now, Tion, the first-level adventurer of the Loki family, invited her, which meant that it was possible to join the expedition of the Loki family, and she naturally couldn't refuse. In such a deep place, even if she is a level 5 adventurer, it is very dangerous to go alone. Tion, please tell Finn and the others, it's my request. Bilan also opened his mouth, begging to Tion. Tion didn't mention it, and Bilan didn't think of it yet. Now that Tion mentioned this, Bilan came to this result after careful thinking for a while. That is, once he joins the expedition of the Loki family, Liu, an elf who takes himself very seriously and protects himself wholeheartedly, will definitely not ignore it, and will definitely follow the footsteps of the expedition and enter the deep. It would still be too dangerous if Liu was alone. Although they have only been together for more than a week, and Liu has an unknown purpose for him, but this does not prevent Bilan from being grateful to Liu. Naturally, it was impossible to watch Liu Shen take the risk. Ah, don't worry, I invited Liu because of your consideration. Finn and the others won't refuse. Tion smiled lightly and agreed. While chatting, several people quickly wiped out the dinner in their hands. The time for dinner passed quickly. After clearing away all the dishes, Isis' figure appeared in front of Bilan, and Isis' cute and sweet voice sounded. Bilan, come and fight. Ah, yes, come on. Early the next morning, Bilan and others had an early breakfast and then started taking action again. The things refreshed in the mall today were the same as yesterday. Without blinking, Bilan took a look and ignored them. Yesterday I fought all the way down, today I fought all the way up. What was the forward speed yesterday and what speed is it still today? After only walking 5 floors, Bilan was upgraded again. The reward this time is a skill. The inherent skills of the heroic spirit Lancelot in the moon-shaped world, endless martial arts. The training of martial arts, which was known as unparalleled in a certain era, completely integrated the mind, skills and body, and exerted powerful fighting ability without any mental influence. This will directly fill up Bilan's combat experience and combat skills. The first thing I felt was the people fighting side by side with Bilan. Icy and the others felt that Bilan's fighting skills had improved several times instantly, far surpassing them. At least after they saw Bilan's changing fighting skills, they immediately compared this fighting skill with their own fighting skills, and the result was a complete defeat. Several people were very concerned about Bilan's sudden change. Among them, the one I care about the most is Icy. Icy's pursuit of strength is the most serious among them. Bilan's strength far exceeds their fighting skills and can also improve her strength. This kind of martial arts is naturally her pursuit of strength. Icy's eyes almost glowed when she looked at Bilan. If their team hadn't been on the road while fighting and needed to get back to the ground before dark, maybe Icy would have been prepared to ask Bilan for a fight like the last adventure. In the blink of an eye, a few hours passed. Everyone who worked hard returned to the 38th floor smoothly. However, even after returning to this safe floor, the few people had no intention of stopping and rested, and continued to move towards the upper level. It also takes several hours to return to the ground from the lower level. Speaking of which, I don't know if I can meet another floor master on the return trip this time. Diona said with a smile while running fast. 2 adventures in a row BBFB. The first time they met Goliath, the second time they met Udius, and the third time I don't know if they can meet the Amphisbaena on the 25th to 27th floors. 2-headed dragon. As for the big monster Balur on the 49th floor, they didn't have extravagant hopes. Although the big guy hadn't been defeated, he rarely appeared. Moreover, even if they did appear, they would not be able to defeat them. After all, they were level IV.7 floor masters. Without more powerful adventurers, it would be impossible for a few of them at level IV.5 to defeat them. It is said that Oda had entered the deep layer alone to challenge Balur before, but in the end he came back with scars. Even the strongest LV.7 adventurers in the city of Oda can't defeat Balur, and it's impossible for them to group together. Unless the first-level adventurers of the entire Loki family go together, there is a possibility of crusade. Who knows? Tion shook her head, not very hopeful. Bilan at the side listened to the conversation between the two, and fell into deep thought silently. The 27th floor, remember that the Astoria family was destroyed during the construction of the 27th floor. At that time, because the Dark faction was doing trouble in the dungeon, the destroyer Jagnet was born in the dungeon. The adventurers on the 27th floor were cleared. It was after that time that the Astria family began to decline. 11 second level IV.3 and IV.4 adventurers disappeared except for Liu who survived. However, judging from Liu's current situation, there should be something else hidden at that time. Moreover, most of it has something to do with myself. Bilan has a vague feeling about this. At this moment, Bilan suddenly noticed something, his heart moved slightly, and he glanced at the river beside him calmly. Bilan and the others were currently on the 27th floor, within the scope of the Mystery City of Water. Just now, Bilan felt a special aura appearing in the rapid waterfall river around them. This breath was very secretive, and Icy and the others didn't notice it. If it weren't for Bilan's natural aura and his very sensitive perception of creatures, Bilan would not be able to notice it. The aura just now was not a monster, but an aura that was different from a monster. A figure immediately appeared in Bilan's mind. Mermaid Mary is a heretic encountered by the Hestia familia in the mysterious city of water during their first expedition in the original novel. If it hadn't been for this mermaid bell, he would have directly played Gigi in his first battle. Withdrawing his gaze, Bilan thought for a moment, but in the end he had no intention of contacting the Mermaid Mary. After all, several people around him are absolutely hostile to monsters, especially ice. Because of her own experience, she has an attitude towards killing monsters. It should be said that except for the Ganesha familia, all adventurers are opposed to monsters. Even I just value heretics more and maintain absolute hostility towards monsters. If a few people discover Mary's existence, Mary will definitely not survive. This is not a good thing for Bilan, who wants to take the heretic for his own use. Although Mermaid Mary herself is not very powerful, she only has the strength of IV.2. But no matter how small a mosquito is, it is still flesh. The group of people left here as quickly as possible and rushed to the upper level. A few minutes after the people left, a dark green head floated up from the water in the rapid waterfall. That person just now seems to have noticed me. Mermaid Mary looked quietly at the place where Bilan and others disappeared, and murmured in a low voice. She was swimming well in the water just now, and suddenly she felt a very comfortable breath approaching, and she couldn't help but want to look for it, almost revealing her existence. Although she was in the water, she could clearly feel that the comfortable aura emanating from Bilan's body. Moreover, Bilan seemed to have noticed his existence. Special human beings, go tell Reed and the others. After murmuring softly, Mary plunged into the water and swam quickly. This time, because there was no procrastination, several people returned to the ground before the sun set. Because they came back early, Bilan and others exchanged all the magic stones. The two adventures lasted 4 days, and they were still active in the lower and deep layers. The harvest of several people was very rich. It took 2 guild staff members half an hour to finish the exchanged magic stones. 60 million Wallace in total. Divided equally among 5 people, that's 12 million per person. This is the first time Bilan has gained such a huge harvest since he started entering the dungeon. After taking over Wallace, the first thought in Bilan's mind was that it was time to change the clan's location. The next step is for Hestia to recruit elven adventurers and subdue the heretics. The underground church is not a good place. There is simply no condition to accommodate so many people. This 12 million is just enough to buy a medium-sized villa. Let Hestia and Aina handle this matter. That's right, it's Aina. Bilan and Aina have not seen each other for a few days. I haven't seen him since he first asked Ice and the others to take him into the deep depths. After this meeting, Aina immediately gave up her job as a guild employee and prepared to join the Hestia familia and become a companion with Bilan. In addition, there is another female union employee, the long gold-haired elf Ariel, Aina's senior. As for the reason, you don't need to think about it. Both Aina and the royal sister elf Ariel were attracted by the aura of Bilan. Just as Riveria said before, the aura on Bilan is fatal poison to elves, enough to drive elves crazy. This is the case for Ariel and Aina, the sister elves. Of course, it's not that the aura on Bilan directly changed the two people's cognition. The two people's cognitions were still normal. It was just that the aura on Bilan was enough to make the two give up their work in the guild and follow Bilan instead, by my side. For both of them, the work of the guild is not something they cannot give up. They can always find a replacement. Just like joining the Hestia familia where Bilan belongs. Especially Aina, after learning from Bilan the effect of these auras on Bilan's body, she even asked for a strand of hair from Bilan. At first, Bilan thought Aina was in the same situation as Liu. However, after Aina explained it, Bilan understood that Aina was prepared for her mother, Aina, who was seriously ill. The breath of Bilan can restore the spirit of the elf and return it to its peak state. Although the effect of Bilan's hair is not as strong as Bilan's own, and it is temporary, it is enough to restore Aina's mother's physique to a normal condition. And Aina resigned from her job in the guild, and Bilan's adventurer advisor was also gone. The guild also did not assign a new adventurer advisor to Bilan. After all, Although Aina is preparing to become an adventurer and enter the dungeon, she is an adventurer consultant herself, and her understanding of the dungeon is no worse than anyone else in the guild. Enough to help Bilan. It's only been a few days since we last met, but you've changed so much. Walking side by side on the street, Aina was filled with emotion. The last time she saw Bilan didn't have this kind of aura that made the elf want to stop. She only takes good care of Bilan because Bilan is a half-elf like her. Aina would never admit that she has a great crush on Bilan because she is a junior. However, whether you admit it or not, the good feeling still exists. Therefore, after Bilan exuded this strong natural aura, and the two were superimposed, Aina gave up her work in the guild without hesitation and chose to follow Bilan, preparing to join Hestia. Families. I went to the Elf King's capital when I was young. The natural atmosphere there is very rich, but it cannot be compared with you, Mr. Bilan. Mr. Bilan, where you are now can support a holy land for the elves. On the other side of Bilan, the blonde sister elf Ariel also spoke at this time, with a slightly respectful tone, which seemed to be in her heart very high. However, judging from her tone, she seems to be quite young, laughs. Riveria also said this. Riveria said that the place where I am is a holy land for elves, and my existence is the poison of the elves, attracting every elf. Bilan laughed and said, Princess Riveria, sir. Bilan's words shocked the elder sisters Ariel and Aina. Unexpectedly, the royal elves actually gave Bilan such a comment. This is simply official certification. However, thinking about it, it seems so. The aura on Bilan's body is indeed like poison to the elves, a poison that is enough to attract any elves. It was like the two of them were attracted by Bilan's aura and couldn't extricate themselves. That's it for today. I'll go back first and come find you tomorrow. Okay, Bilan. When they came to a fork in the road, Aina said to Bilan, well, come see me tomorrow. I have something to give you. Bilan smiled and nodded, waving goodbye to Aina. Beside Bilan, Ariel also waved to Aina. Aina also waved goodbye, then turned around and trotted away from here. It seemed that she couldn't wait to deliver the hair obtained from Bilan to her mother Aina. Let's go back and let Hestia carve a favor for you. Watching Aina's figure disappear from sight, Yuhankai said to the elf Ariel next to her, who was half a head taller than her. Yes, Mr. Bilan. Hey, Ariel, do you have any friends? What did Mr. Bilan say? The Hestia familia is about to begin to develop and needs new members, and they are elves. If you have someone you can recommend, you can introduce them. Yes, Mr. Bilan, Ariel promises to complete the task. It's a mission or something, forget it, just treat it as a mission. Bilan, LV.4, Strength, 10, Durability, 10, Dexterity, 10, Agile, EO, Magic, 10, Development Ability, Magical Leap Level 1, Floor Master Killer Eye. Magic, Void Furnace, Element Control, Skill, Upgrade. Deputy Grandmaster, Instant Kill, Sharingan. As soon as he came back, Hestia directly updated Bilan's favor. There is no doubt that Bilan's ability value, which has been in the depths for 2 days, has once again reached the X level and cannot be upgraded, so Hestia directly upgraded Bilan. And the development ability that appears in this upgrade Bilan has decided before, the main killer of the floor. 097. And there is also no doubt that after leveling up, Bilan's whole person has been greatly sublimated again, and his strength has increased several times. Every time Bilan upgrades, he upgrades and sublimates with EX level ability values. This is the case for each level, and it progresses layer by layer. After reaching LV.4, the strength improvement Bilan obtains through sublimation is already very terrifying. In the past 2 days in the dungeon, Bilan has been promoted to 3 consecutive levels, and his strength has been greatly improved, from the peak combat power of LV.5 to LV.6. Now after such a sublimation of grace upgrade, Bilan's strength has skyrocketed. Bilan is sure that even if he has just been promoted to LV.4, he already has the combat power of top LV.6, and may even have the combat power of LV.7. This is why even with the upgrade system, Bilan still did not underestimate the favor. Because the higher the level of favor, the more terrifying the sublimation you get when you level up. This time, Bilan's promotion can already be 3 times that of the upgrade after level 30. Next, if you want to upgrade again, you can only get the you need from the floor master on the 49th floor, Bilan. And I still have to do it myself. Although Bilan has a combat power of LV.7, he is just a stronger monster to me now. Even if I can't beat it, the current magic power, the curry fire, is enough to blow it to pieces. If you can't meet Bilan, you can only wait for the fallen fairy clone on the 59th floor. Looking at the favor paper in his hand, Bilan touched his chin and thought with interest. With flames coming out of his hand, Bilan burned the paper copying his favor changes to ashes, and then Shenguang looked at Hestia, who was communicating with Ariel not far away. Just now, after Hestia updated the favors for Bilan, he took the time to engrave the favors belonging to the Hestia family for Ariel. Although she had never thought of recruiting family members so quickly for Bilan's growth, Hestia still liked Ariel, who came to her door very much, and her attitude was very enthusiastic. Bilan also told Hestia that he wanted to form a magic army formed by the elves. As for the magic inheritance card, Bilan directly attributed it to his own enchanting ability. Hestia had no doubts about this. After all, she had seen with her own eyes the not-so-good armor forged by half-General Hephaestus directly turned into Orario's top armor. Hestia was amazed by the various magical abilities on that armor. Humans in the lower world do not have this ability, and they can freely add various abilities to their equipment. The enchanting ability that Bilan showed originally has already involved the realm of gods. After hearing the mission assigned by Bilan to Ariel, Hestia became even more interested. She took Ariel and started talking about the magic army and recruiting new people. In the past, Bilan was definitely not strong enough and did not want to delay Bilan, but now, Bilan has the strength of a first-level adventurer. And it has been upgraded again. You don't need to think about it to know that Yuju's strength has definitely skyrocketed again. My Bilan is special. Maybe after upgrading, it will reach IV.6 strength, the absolute pinnacle among Orario adventurers. In the entire Orario, only Freya's Oda is 1 level higher than LV.6. And now that Bilan has taken the initiative to recruit people, Hestia has not continued to maintain her previous ideas and is preparing to start developing the dependent clan. Seeing the two people having a lively exchange, Bilan smiled slightly and walked over to join them. What Bilan and the others were talking about was recruiting elven adventurers and buying a clan settlement. Of course, the most important thing is to recruit dependents. As for the matter of purchasing a family residence, Aina is more familiar with it, while Ariel is not very good at this aspect. She is responsible for the administrator in the guild, managing the guild staff and assigning tasks to them. She is a managerial talent. Bilan decided that when the magic army is established, Ariel will be the leader of the magic army. After the exchange, Ariel left first. She is going back to pack her belongings and then come over tomorrow. This time I came here just to let Hestia carve out the favor and determine the status of the members of the familia. If Aina hadn't cared about her mother Aina, she would have followed her just now. After Ariel left, Bilan communicated with Hestia about the heretics. Things about the heretic cannot be leaked to others, not even Ariel, who has just joined the familia. Ariel is likely to accept the heretics because of Bilan's existence, but it will cause some trouble. So it would be better to wait until Bilan conquers the heretics, uses the transformation technique to turn the heretics into humans, and then introduces the heretics to Ariel. There's no need to make things so complicated. I have already gone to see Uranus today, and I told Uranus about the reward plan. Oranos thinks we can cooperate, but you need to show your ability to conquer the heretics. As long as there are no problems with the heretics, then he will send someone to help us and arrange the identity of the heretics. Hestia told Bilan the results of her meeting with Oranos. It's so simple. God Uranus doesn't have any doubts. Bilan was surprised to hear such a result. How should I put it? My reputation in the heaven is still very good. Oranos is very confident about me. Hestia tilted her head and said with a smile. Hey, that's really unexpected. What kind of tone do you have? Dis equals C. No, it's nothing. Hey, how do you contact the people of the god Oranos? Take this and go to the address on this paper tomorrow night. Someone will meet you. Early in the morning, Aina came to Bilan with a salute. After meeting Bilan, Aina was extremely grateful to Bilan. Her mother Aina's situation is very special. It seems to be caused by a hidden disease, so she has always been weak and sickly. There is a potion that can treat this condition in Olali, but she can't afford it, it is too expensive. But now, she just took a strand of hair from Bilan and directly cured her mother's illness, and her physical condition has completely returned to normal. After thanking him, Agina became a member of the Hestia familia with the grace of Hestia. Not long after that, Ariel came over. After chatting for half an hour, the few people left the underground church together to buy a new family residence and recruit new family members. As for Bilan, Bilan did not accompany a few people there, but set off for the Hephaestus familia. Bilan will not go to the dungeon these days. He had already made an agreement with Liu and Ice when he came back last night. The adventure of going deep will continue after 11 days. Bilan has something to do during these 3 days. Inherit fire magic to the newly recruited elves, form a magic army, and include them in the power card to become your confidants. Then create exclusive equipment for the established magic legion, legion magic staff, and then arrange enchantment beads and magic forts for the purchased new family garrison, and finally take the magic legion to the upper level of the dungeon, and take them to a level, so that their strength has increased and they can cope with the upper dungeons well. Although there is only a magic legion for the time being and no melee members, Bilan is very confident in the magic legion that will be formed soon. After all, the magic legion he is about to form will be developed in all aspects, because like Bilan, it will fight monsters and upgrade, and will be improved in all aspects. Even if you are approached by a monster, don't be afraid, you can directly fight in close combat. It's just that the melee combat ability cannot be compared with magic. Completely different from the magicians in this world. The magicians in this world all focus on improving their magic power, and don't pay much attention to other basic abilities. Even Riveria is the same. It can be said that the magic legion Bilan is about to form is a magic and martial legion. It can do both magic and martial arts, and magic is the most powerful. As long as you lead them to increase their strength at the beginning, you don't have to worry about Bilan in the future. The magic army can become stronger with the passage of time and enter deeper floors. Just like Bilan himself, Bilan relied on his upgrade ability to gradually advance to deeper floors at the beginning. And if you want to make a magic wand that can be used to cast magic and fight in close quarters, you need Bilan's forging and enchanting skills. This is a big project, 10 magic wands like this, even Bilan will need to spend a lot of time. To forge such a magic wand, Bilan naturally needs a forging workshop. It is difficult for a smart woman to have a meal without rice. Without a forging workshop, it is impossible for Yuban to create these magic hours out of thin air. After all, the world of dungeon encounters is not the world of Shenxia, and what Bilan masters is not the technology of refining weapons, but the technology of forging. The headquarters of the Hephaestus familia is not difficult to enter. After all, the Hephaestus familia can be considered a commercial family, and adventurers visit us every day to customize weapons. After healing the scar on Hephaestus's face, Bilan became a guest of the Hephaestus family. After Bilan revealed his identity, the eyes of the Hephaestus family members who received Bilan lit up. They politely invited Bilan to the lounge, and then ran out to report. It didn't take long for Hephaestus' figure to appear at the door of the lounge, and from the pace of her stepping on the smoking break, it was easy to see that Hephaestus had run all the way over, changing her usual calmness. It was no different from the way Loki appeared when he visited Loki before. "I've finally waited for you, Bilan." When Hephaestus saw Bilan at the gate, his eyes suddenly lit up and he shouted excitedly. I have to say, Hephaestus without the eye patch is really a beauty. No, the same goes for Hephaestus wearing an eye patch, but Hephaestus without the eye patch is even more stunning. Long time no see, Hephaestus. Bilan shouted with a smile. Long time no see, Bilan. I'm here to take over the forge. Come with me. Hephaestus gave a thumbs up behind her and greeted Bilan. Ah, please. Bilan nodded slightly, then got up and walked over. Under the leadership of Hephaestus, the two arrived in front of a forge in less than 5 minutes. Not one, but two forges connected together. This is my forge, and this side is yours. Hephaestus pointed to the 2 forges and introduced them to Bilan. It looks very new. Looking at the two forges connected in front of him, especially his own, Bilan muttered, stroking his chin. Hephaestus's one has some history, but the forge next to Hephaestus's forge is different. It looks new at first glance. It was originally new. I hired people to build it non-stop these days. Faced with Bilan's doubts, Hephaestus said with a smile, not hiding anything. Bilan was stunned and looked at Hephaestus beside him, his face full of confusion, as if he was asking Hephaestus why he was doing this. However, after touching Hephaestus' gentle eyes, Bilan was slightly startled. The tenderness in Hephaestus's eyes almost overflowed. Bilan only recently understood what this kind of look was. This was the look in Diona's eyes. Do you like me, Hephaestus? After a moment of silence, Bilan asked tentatively. I like it. I liked it after you healed the scar on my face. I decided a long time ago that I will pursue whoever heals this scar of mine. Hephaestus had no intention of hiding it at all, and her eyes were still gentle as she replied. This made Bilan slightly embarrassed, as it seemed that there was really a possibility of such a bloody thing. Don't worry, I will do Hestia's job well. Hephaestus immediately saw why Bilan was acting like this, and said with a smile. Bilan, it has to be said that the forge specially built by Hephaestus is really high-end, and the forging tools known in Bilan's inheritance are all available, and none of them are left behind. How about it? It's okay. I compared it with my forge. Watching Bilan inspect the forge, Hephaestus stood at the door with one hand on his hip and smiled. There are many things that a forging profession needs, and you have a heart. Bilan recalled smiling and thanked. When he asked Hephaestus for a forge before, Bilan never expected to get such a gorgeous forge. That's right, it is gorgeous. Although it is a forge, the layout inside can be called gorgeous. Besides, Bilan can't think of other adjectives to describe it. Walking in front of various forging utensils, Bilan tried the quality of these forging utensils. Hey, it seems that you have made some achievements in forging. Looking at the actions of Bilan's hands, Hephaestus immediately understood that the reason why Bilan wanted the forge was not a joke. As the god of forging, Hephaestus has very strong attainments in forging, and she immediately saw Bilan's method of testing forging tools. Experts will know if there is one as soon as they make a move. Bilan's current testing method is only mastered by blacksmiths with deep forging attainments. It is the instinct formed by years of forging experience accumulated over the years. If I didn't know that you were only 15 years old, I would have thought you were Iron Hephaestus, who has been immersed in forging technology for decades. Bilan's performance made Hephaestus understand that there is a secret in Bilan, but she doesn't care. Moreover, Bilan likes this situation even more. After all, she is a god of forging, and the person she likes is also very accomplished in forging. What does this mean? It means they are a perfect match. Oh, no, they can't be a perfect match. After all, Hestia was the one who discovered this treasure boy first, and she couldn't win the love by herself. At most, she wanted to share it together. Just when Hephaestus liked Bilan more and more because of Bilan's forging instinct, Bilan's voice suddenly sounded. Hephaestus, I don't have much forging materials at the moment. Can I buy some from you? As long as the quantity is not too large and not too precious, you can have as much as you want, and you don't need to buy it. Hephaestus immediately waved her hand and announced arrogantly when she heard Bilan's words. If he didn't have to worry about the family members, Hephaestus would have told Bilan to ask for whatever he wanted. After all, Bilan healed the scars that had existed since her birth, cured her heart ailments that had lasted hundreds of millions of years, and completely liberated her. Whatever Bilan wants, she is willing to give it to him. However, this is just her, and it is completely fine if she is alone. But she is still the main god of the Hephaestus familia, so it is impossible to really do this. Although she couldn't do this, she could still make the decision if it was just some less precious materials. As long as it is not a material for forging first-level weapons, she can make the decision. As for the materials required for the first-level weapons, she could also give them some, but she couldn't give them too much. It doesn't need to be so precious, just need some third-level ones, and I will pay for it. Bilan didn't expect Hephaestus' boldness, but Bilan didn't want to just go whoring for nothing. Although the fact that he healed the wound on Hephaestus' face was enough for Hephaestus to do this, Bilan didn't want to make it difficult for Hephaestus. With Bilan's method, as long as the forging materials of the third-level weapon are available, Bilan can turn it into the second-level weapon, and even add new materials to directly upgrade the second-level weapon to the first level. Therefore, there is no need to worry about the forging materials being too low, resulting in the forged weapons having a low level and a low upper limit. Just the materials needed for the third level of weapons. That's totally fine, you can have as many as you want. And there's no payment required, it's free. You wait here for a while, I'll go and prepare it now. Hearing that the materials Bilan needs are only third-level materials, Hephaestus directly announced that they are free of charge. Lan declined the opportunity, and then turned around and left. In the forge, Bilan looked at Hephaestus, who left vigorously, opened his mouth, didn't know what to say for a moment, and finally just shook his head amusedly. Okay, I'll accept this thank you gift, Bilan said to himself with a smile. Immediately, Bilan began to light up the flames in the forging furnace, sitting on a stool and quietly waiting for Hephaestus to return. Hephaestus didn't leave for too long and quickly changed back. Also accompanying him were the group leader Chun and several members of the Hephaestus familia pulling the cart. There are several carts full of materials needed for various forging equipment. After delivering several carts of materials, several blacksmiths looked at Bilan in the forging workshop curiously and then left. Bilan, Hephaestus said, you are a very strong blacksmith, let me see your ability. As soon as he entered the forge, Tsubaki came directly to Bilan's ma's side. He grabbed Bilan and said carelessly, Chuang. Tsubaki, Bilan is mine, don't snatch it from me. Seeing Tsubaki and Bilan being so affectionate, Hephaestus frowned immediately, reminding her displeased Ly. Well, it doesn't matter. Chun didn't care at all and responded with raised eyebrows. This left Hephaestus speechless. He glared at Chun fiercely and did not pursue the matter further. These are the forging materials for forging the third-level armament. You can choose and use it yourself. You can take as much as you want. If it is not enough, I will continue to send it over. From Tsubaki's eyes to Bilan's face, Hephaestus's face changed and became extremely gentle, and she spoke to Bilan gently. Enough, thanks, Hephaestus. There is no need to say thank you between you and me. Hephaestus didn't know how Mahe felt when Bilan made a potion for herself. But now Hephaestus knew. This guy Bilan is not inferior to him at all in forging. Although the equipment Bilan forged is only second-level equipment and not Orario's top equipment, it is easy to see the strength of Bilan's forging technology from her perspective. That forging skill has reached its peak, entering the realm of gods. At least, she can't compare now. Unable to use divine power for forging, she cannot compare with Bilan. Hephaestus knew very well that Bilan, who had such peak forging skills, could forge a divine weapon if he wanted to. Not only Hephaestus, but Chun on the side was also shocked beyond measure. What did she see? Already standing at the pinnacle of Orario's forging, with the title of Master Craftsman, she actually gained from Bilan's techniques. She learned a lot of knowledge from Yuya's techniques that she had never been exposed to before. After the shock, Chun's expression became extremely excited. The second-level weapons are actually so simple, so many of them were forged in just a few hours. You know, even for her, it would take several hours to forge a second-level weapon. Moreover, these weapons can definitely be sold for hundreds of millions of wallis. Now, Hephaestus, you saw it. Bilan's forging skills are far beyond my imagination. Chun said excitedly to Hephaestus. Ah, it's far beyond my imagination. Hephaestus also nodded. As long as Bilan thinks about it, this forging technology alone can allow the Hestia familia to develop rapidly. Hephaestus also nodded with emotion. I don't want to do that. Forging is just a side job for me. What I want most is to become stronger, keep getting stronger, and be so strong that no one can defeat me. Bilan, who successfully forged the last wand and heard Hephaestus's words, said with a smile. Just as Hephaestus said, Bilan can do it at any time if he wants to develop the Hestia familia. Blacksmithing master, pharmacy master, enchanting master, any of these sub-professions can be done. But Bilan doesn't want to use this to develop and expand the family. In this way, the family members are strengthened. No matter how large the family members become, so what? Others can destroy them at will. Just like the Demeter family. The Demeter familia that supplies food to the entire Orario is probably quite large. Except for the Ganesha familia that guards Orario, there is probably no other familia that can compare with the size of the Demeter familia. Such a huge family was not easily plotted and threatened by Dionysus, the god of wine. The Loki familia and Freya familia are also very large, but do you think Dionysus dares to threaten the Loki familia and Freya familia? Therefore, in Bilan's heart, the familia needs to develop and grow, but not by relying on these sub-professions of his own, but by relying on pure strength to stand at the top of Orario with strong strength. Strength is the main one and support is the secondary one. This is the most appropriate development model. That would be such a pity. However, these are all magic wands. As long as the magic gems are installed on them, they will be ready. Bilan, the Hestia familia will start to grow now. And still take the path of the Magic Legion. Hearing that Bilan did not want to take the same path as Hephaestus's family, Hephaestus expressed regret, then glanced at the neatly arranged 18 weapons, and asked curiously Rode. "Ah, we are preparing to form a magic army. Hestia has already gone to recruit new members." Bilan nodded slightly and did not hide anything. "Yes, that's really congratulations. With you here, I believe the Hestia familia will develop quickly, BBEH. If you need any help, just ask." Hephaestus smiled and nodded, then said, "I still have something to do, just. Bilan, let's discuss forging technology from now on." Late at night, Bilan returned to the underground church with slow steps. Originally, Bilan was going to return to the underground church to enchant the magic wand after building the magic wand needed by the magic army, but he was interrupted by Chun as soon as he said goodbye. Chun pulled her and insisted on discussing forging technology with her. Even Hephaestus looked expectant. Having just received so many resources from Hephaestus, Bilan was too embarrassed to refuse, so he had to follow the two of them to the headquarters of the Hephaestus familia and discuss the forging technology together. At the beginning, the three people exchanged and discussed the forging technology without distinction. As the top craftsman of Orario, Chun had a lot of ink about forging. But as time went by, Chun gradually couldn't keep up with Bilan and Hephaestus. By the end, Chun was completely reduced to a student attending classes, holding a notebook and a pen to constantly record the exchanges between Bilan and Hephaestus, and obtain forging techniques that were useful to her. And this exchange took place all afternoon, from 1 o'clock in the afternoon to now. If it weren't for Bilan tonight, it is estimated that Hephaestus and Chun will hold Bilan to talk at night by candlelight. Hephaestus is indeed the god of forging. She has great attainments in forging. Even I have benefited a lot. The stones from other mountains can be used to attack jade, and the ancients were not deceived. Silently sighing, Bilan opened the door of the underground church and walked down the stairs. Before taking 2 steps, the figures of Hestia and the others appeared at the top of the stairs. "Bilan, you are finally back." Before Bilan could go down, Hestia rushed up in 2 or 3 steps, and threw herself into Bilan's arms. Sorry, I went to Hephaestus's place and made some magic wands. Later, Hephaestus took me to exchange forging techniques, so I came back late." Bilan stretched out his hand to Hestia. He stroked his little head and said comfortingly, "Hey, exchange technology with Hephaestus. Sure enough, your forging technology is also at the same level as the medicine machine technology." As expected of my Bilan. Hestia's eyes lit up when she heard the words, and said triumphantly. Although he had guessed when he saw Bilan's skills before, Hestia couldn't help being proud when he really heard Bilan's words. "This is my first dependent. Well, how are your things going?" "Ah, you said this. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more."